deadly mobile game. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 51, Making a Fortune. This is the funniest joke I've heard today, Wu Chuan added. The other new students still didn't say a word, and everyone looked at Jin Ke with a look of pity. People with poor strength can usually only take advantage of their mouths. Jin Ke ignored Xiaobo and walked back to the team and stood silently. Is it enough to kill me? Damn, dare to say such a thing. Have a park with me? Xiaobo was relentless this time. A 5th ranked scum who was persuaded to quit by the coach actually said that killing him was enough. Xiaobo, who was just immersed in the joy of seizing the throne of the top new student, how could he tolerate others provoking him like this? And it was a provocation from a 5th ranked scum. The new students looked at Jin Ke together again. There must be something hateful about pitiful people. Obviously, he is not as skilled as others, so why is he still talking nonsense? Now, Xiaobo proposed a single park. If Jin Ke accepted the challenge, he would definitely lose. If he didn't dare to accept the challenge, wouldn't what he said just now be a slap in his face? This really means he doesn't want to continue hanging around in the assassin training center. He just wants to have fun. However, he just made such a big talk in public. If he admits his mistake now, wouldn't he become a joke of the entire training base? How can he live in the training base in the future? Park? No problem. I'm ready anytime. Jin Ke agreed without hesitation. Can't you? Don't be too impulsive. Zhu Shu wanted to dissuade Jin Ke. After all, the two of them came from the same villa. When Jin Ke just came here, Zhu Shu took the initiative to show his friendship to Jin Ke. Your courage to accept park is commendable, but can you win? It's easy to talk big, but the reality is cruel. Other new students also saw that Jin Ke was in a dilemma. If he didn't accept park, he would definitely become a laughingstock of the training base. Now he could only bite the bullet and hold on to the end. Okay, let's have a park. Jin Ke, you are so confident that you can beat me. Then please be the banker. Double the payout. Xiaobo was worried that Jin Ke would go back on his word, so he immediately asked Jin Ke to park, set up a bet and shouted loudly, I'm not interested in gambling. Jin Ke rejected Xiaobo outright. Are you giving in? Wu Chuan deliberately asked loudly beside him. Sure enough, you are giving in. The other students also murmured in a low voice. This kind of virtual park victory or defeat does not have any punishment for the players. It is only exciting enough when the players use contribution points to increase the stakes. In their opinion, there is only one reason why Jin Ke dare not accept the bet. He does not think he can win at all. If he does not bet, losing is just a matter of face. If he places a bet, he will be forced to be sent to the ecological plantation to pick up manure after losing. Xiaobo is also cruel. Let Jin Ke be the banker, and others will bet, and everyone will definitely bet on Jin Ke to lose. It was easy to bet 2,000 points, and 4,000 points were enough for Jin Ke to carry manure in the ecological plantation for a month. What's the point of park without gambling? Aren't you very confident that you can beat me? Why don't you dare to bet? You think you will lose before the battle? Xiaobo continued to stimulate Jin Ke with words. Only if Jin Ke agreed to the bet, he could send Jin Ke to the ecological plantation to carry manure after defeating Jin Ke in park. If Jin Ke was the banker, no matter how much others bet, Xiaobo would definitely make up 2,000 points and let Jin Ke pay double 4,000 points. Don't like gambling. What's wrong? Jin Ke said as a matter of course. You can be so cool even if you admit your weakness. Jin Ke's shameless style is really admirable. Wu Chuan continued to sneer at the side. It's true that some people don't like gambling, just like some people don't like smoking. Don't force it. Zhu Shu couldn't stand it and stopped Xiaobo and Wu Chuan with words. Okay, since he doesn't want to be the banker, I'll be the banker again with great difficulty. Just like the last game, I'll be the banker. Double the payout, bet on me. Xiaobo was a little depressed, but he still didn't want to miss this opportunity to easily earn contribution points. He just easily earned 550 points, so he would earn whatever he could this time. Who would dare to bet on you as the banker? Isn't this funny? Wu Chuan said to Xiaobo. That's right, with such an obvious win or loss, Who would dare to bet? The other new students also shook their heads. If the banker of this kind of park bets on himself to lose, he can cheat and deliberately lose the park, so he can only bet on himself to win. Xiaobo, as the banker, bet on himself to beat Jin Ke. Only when Jin Ke defeats Xiaobo can other bettors earn contribution points. All the students who bet on contribution points against Xiaobo just now lost them, and this was when the new student, the former top brother Fang Yi, played. In this situation, Jin Ke himself doesn't dare to bet and gave up first. So are the others the suckers, giving contribution points to Xiaobo for nothing? No one is betting? Then I'll bet 2,000 points. After seeing Xiaobo open the park and confirm that he was the banker, Jin Ke immediately bet 2,000 points. He has been too tight on money recently, so responding to Xiaobo's humiliation and provocation is secondary. It would be nice to take this opportunity to make a fortune. You bet 2,000 points? Didn't you just say you don't like gambling? Xiaobo didn't react and asked Jin Ke in confusion. Now you suddenly like it again. What's your business? Jin Ke continued in a matter-of-fact tone. Is there any need to ask the reason behind this? Xiaobo previously let Jin Ke be the banker, and Jin Ke could only win 2,000 points if he was the banker. Now that Xiaobo is the banker, Jin Ke can win 4,000 points by betting 2,000 points. It's the same win. How should I choose between 4,000 points and 2,000 points? So Jin Ke said he didn't like gambling before, but suddenly liked it later. It's just a personal hobby. Times change and situations change. Of course, ha 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 ha. It looks like someone's soul is really damaged. His head is also seriously damaged, so he's going to make a fortune. After Xiaobo realized what was going on, he couldn't help but be ecstatic. Jin Ke bet 2,000 points, which means that if Jin Ke loses the competition, he will have to compensate Xiaobo with 2,000 contribution points. If he can't pay, Jin Ke will be forced to work in the ecological plantation. Working day and night in the ecological plantation, he can earn about 150 contribution points a day. 2,000 contribution points can almost allow Jin Ke to stay in the ecological plantation for more than 10 days. Although it is not as exciting as Jin Ke personally paying double 4,000 points, Xiaobo can easily earn 2,000 points by himself, and he also made Jin Ke be punished to carry manure for more than 10 days. This result has already made Xiaobo very satisfied. Am I seeing right? Betting 2,000 points? Crazy. This new student is crazy. He was provoked by Xiaobo and Wu Chuan. These two are really cruel. It's his own fault that he is stupid and lacks strength. He took the bait after a few words of provocation. He deserves his bad luck. Yes. If you are not suitable for training as an assassin, then don't train. He has to force himself into a desperate situation. I think he has given up on himself and is desperate. The new students talked about it in various ways. Chapter 52. Who said 5 points of damage can't kill someone? Thanks to Meng Mo, teacher Qin from Tsinghua University, for giving 50,000 starting coins. Xiaobo, cancel the bet. You have changed jobs for more than half a month, and others have just changed jobs. Is it interesting to win the park? Don't push people too much. Just stop it. Zhu Shu walked over and advised Xiaobo. Zhu Shu and Jin Ke didn't interact much in the villa, but he could see that Jin Ke was a very introverted person. He always seemed to be worried, didn't smile much, and had a baby with him. Such an introverted person is likely to do some crazy and irrational actions after being stimulated, and Zhu Shu didn't want to see such a result. Cancel? It's all voluntary. Why cancel it? Xiaobo immediately rejected Zhu Shu. Why cancel the bet? He can't blame others for losing, who made him not strong enough, and he still had to brag to save face. Wu Chuan added a few words on the side. The other parties didn't say they wanted to cancel. Zhu Shu, don't be nosy. Several new students who like to watch the fun also started to make a fuss. Coach Yuan Kaiang also felt that something was not right today. It might be that the words he had just used to persuade the student to quit were too embarrassing, and forced the student's name Jin Ke to have mental problems. Could it be that his soul was damaged because of brain damage? It seemed that the student's brain did have some problems. However, the park was about to begin. This kind of gambling park that had already been established could not be forcibly terminated even by Coach Yuan Kaiang, unless both Xiaobo and Jin Ke agreed to give up. so Yuan Kaiang did not say anything to stop it. It would be good to let them park. After Jin Ke was abused by Xiaobo in the park, he should be able to realize the gap between himself and other students, and leave the assassin training center on his own, not wasting time here, and go to the ecological plantation to transform himself for more than 10 days. This might not be a bad thing for Jin Ke, and it would also save Yuan Kaiang from reporting to the upper management of the training base. Xiaobo and Jin Ke entered the virtual park room one after another, and the new players switched the scenes in the virtual park room to their mobile phone screens in full screen to watch the park. There was no suspense about the outcome of the park. Jin Ke would definitely be killed by Xiaobo. They just wanted to see what the killing process would look like. Before the park, when Xiaobo provoked and humiliated Jin Ke several times, the students still had some sympathy for Jin Ke. However, Jin Ke's later boasting and his behavior of not daring to gamble at first but then gambling made them feel that Jin Ke was a psychopath and did not deserve any sympathy. Some students even wanted to see Jin Ke being beaten to a pulp by Xiaobo. After entering the park room, Xiaobo remembered what Coach Yuan said before, and first showed his health value, 89 points, for such a park that he could win easily. He didn't care about showing his health value in front of Jin Ke. Jin Ke then showed his health value, 87 points. Although Jin Ke's health value was shown as 87 points, because his soul strength was only 60% of that of an ordinary person, his actual health value was greatly reduced, including the combat effectiveness shown by other basic attributes of his body, which was not as good as that of an ordinary player. Yu Junmin said that the multi-soul body is useless and the road to cultivation is extremely difficult. It is not just a casual remark. Just like now, if Jin Ke wants to win this park, he can only work harder on the operation. I let you make the first move. Xiaobo stood still and made a humiliating gesture of hooking his finger to Jin Ke. Jin Ke's damage output is only 5 points. Even if Xiaobo stood still and let him chop, it would take a long time to chop. Since you want to die so much, I will fulfill your wish. Jin Ke used full manual operation, but simulated the operation method of automatic target locking, and walked towards Xiaobo step by step. Xiaobo stood still all the time. Jin Ke walked to Xiaobo step by step, raised the dagger and prepared to stab Xiaobo. At this time, a red light flashed on Xiaobo's body, and suddenly sent a skill to Jin Ke. Blood slash. I let you chop, but you really chop? Little guy, look at how I play you to death. If Jin Ke used the operation method of automatic target locking at this time, the two would lock each other. At such a close distance, Jin Ke would not be able to avoid Xiaobo's sudden skill attack. But Jin Ke used full manual operation. At the moment when Xiaobo launched his skill attack, he had already circled to Xiaobo's side, and then took advantage of Xiaobo's extremely short stiff state when his skill was launched, and Jin Ke sneaked behind Xiaobo like a ghost. Jin Ke did not use the skill Death Dance, but used the 4-character formula he created, and circled behind Xiaobo with full manual operation. Exposing all of one's strength is a taboo for a warrior. Death Dance is a trump card that Jin Ke is currently hiding, and he will not easily use it in public unless it is a real life and death moment. As for the secret of full manual operation, this is not a secret. Sooner or later, in order to improve the combat power of the characters, most of these new players will switch from automatic lock to full manual operation after playing more. However, Jin Ke can make a fortune by taking advantage of this opportunity before they switch to manual operation. With these 4,000 contribution points, combined with the help of the training plugin in the Xiaomi mobile phone, Jin Ke's strength will steadily rise to a higher level. While sneaking behind Xiaobo, Jin Ke stabbed Xiaobo's back with his dagger. This was the only chance for Xiaobo to attack in the short time when he could not turn around after releasing his skills. Critical hit. You caused 10 points of damage to the target. A bright red '10 damage value appeared above Xiaobo's head. In the mobile game Horror City, only the damage caused by critical hits has a bright red effect. Almost at the same time, Xiaobo finished releasing his skills, and the automatic lock operation allowed him to quickly turn around and face Jin Ke. When Xiaobo turned around, Jin Ke had already retreated far away. The skill attack that he was determined to win failed, and Jin Ke also got around his back and knocked off 10 points of health. Xiaobo could not help but get angry. He didn't care that the blood slash skill was not cooled down, and he immediately rushed towards Jin Ke. Because it was an automatic lock target, he always faced the direction of Jin Ke's retreat. When he rushed over, Jin Ke retreated a few steps and did not retreat again. He stood there waiting for Zhao Bo to rush over. When Zhao Bo's dagger locked onto the target and slashed at Jin Ke suddenly disappeared from in front of him, took a wrong step and went around to his side, and stabbed out the dagger in his hand again. '5 damage value appeared above Zhao Bo's head. Zhao Bo turned around and slashed again. Jin Ke went around to the other side of Zhao Bo's body and stabbed out the dagger in his hand again. '5 damage value appeared above Zhao Bo's head again. Zhao Bo turned around and slashed again in a hurry. He slashed in the air again, and then '5 damage value appeared above his head again. Who said that 5 points of basic damage can't kill people? It's just a few more stabs. Fuck, what's going on? Is this cheating? Fuck, 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 fuck. Zhao Bo cursed angrily. Comparing the two, Zhao Bo in the park field was as clumsy as a bison, while Jin Ke was as light as a cheetah. The sudden movements left and right and the unexpected sneak attacks made Zhao Bo unable to use his strength, and all his skills were in vain. All he could do was spin in place and roar wildly. Chapter 53 The difference between experts and ordinary players. Damn, there is such a move. If they keep fighting like this, Zhao Bo will die sooner or later. Zhu Shu in the real world looked at everything on the phone screen in great shock. I didn't expect it. I didn't expect it. Coach Yuan Kaiying was also a little surprised. What kind of tactics is this? Why can't I understand it? Wu Chuan in the real world was confused. It's a one-sided slaughter. It's not Zhao Bo slaughtering Jin Ke, but Jin Ke slaughtering Zhao Bo. It's so surprising. How did he operate it? He can actually dodge skills? The new students at the scene also talked about it, and their tone sounded very shocked and surprised. Zhao Bo used the automatic target lock operation method, and Jin Ke used full manual operation. Abnormal. Full manual operation is completely self-abuse. He actually practiced it. The student who understood explained a few words. There is such a way to play? I heard that the real masters in this game use full manual operation, and only new players use automatic lock. Full manual operation is too troublesome. Direction keys, and so many skill keys. I can't take care of them at all. Otherwise, how can a master be a master? Indeed, the system's default automatic lock operation method is just to make us familiar with the operation of the game. If we don't force ourselves to learn and get used to full manual operation, our operation level of this game will never improve. But a clumsy person like me will never be able to adapt to full manual operation. Those who have changed their profession to shooter, I'm afraid they don't need full manual operation? Yes, for shooters, automatically locking the target and attacking is the best way. Why do you need full manual operation? I should have changed my profession to shooter earlier. If a shooter wants to become a master, doesn't he have to operate manually? When the shooter automatically locks on the target, there is a certain miss rate when the target moves quickly. With full manual operation, as long as the shot is accurate enough, this miss can be completely eliminated. In addition, do you know about the super energy critical strike against the energy node? The shooter will definitely not be able to hit the energy node when it automatically locks on the target. If you want to hit the energy node on the opponent's body at a distance, the shooter must operate manually. That's too difficult, right? I heard that the energy node only appears for 0.1 second. There are so many operation buttons, and you have to aim at the energy node manually. It's crazy to think about it. This shows the difference between masters and ordinary players. I fainted. It seems that I will be an ordinary player all my life with my clumsy hands. Don't be discouraged. It doesn't matter if you have clumsy hands. After you have more practical experience and get the title of a high-level assassin, you will automatically awaken the displacement and stealth skills special to the assassin profession. With the displacement and stealth skills, full manual operation may not have much advantage. Indeed, Zhao Bo seems so passive because he doesn't have the displacement skill. Not necessarily. Even with the displacement and stealth skills, full manual operation will still have advantages. Yes, but not as big as when I was a rookie. The rookies watching the scene started talking about Jin Ke's operation. Some players secretly made up their minds to try to train full manual operation. Some players with poor hand skills were afraid of difficulties. After hearing that there would be displacement and invisibility skills in the future, they comforted themselves and decided not to change to full manual operation for the time being, otherwise it would be too self-torture. On PC, Coach Yuan Kaiang also heard the rookies' discussion and heard them talking about automatic target locking and full manual operation, but he was not confused by these game operation terms at all. The players have become accustomed to the performance of these NPCs. They have more or less tried to deliberately talk about playing games and various key operations in front of the NPCs. After hearing these words, the NPCs did not have any abnormal reactions, and occasionally looked at the players with a look like I know everything better than you. While the rookies were talking about it, the park between Jin Ke and Xiaobo continued on the field. Xiaobo's health value was reduced by 40 points at this time, leaving only 49 points. Jin Ke's health value was still 87 points, unscathed. The two men were facing each other about 4 or 5 meters apart. Jin Ke stood there with his arms folded, not moving. Xiaobo seemed extremely irritated, constantly moving left and right. If this situation continued without any change, when the 5-minute park time was over, Xiaobo would lose the park because his health ratio was lower than Jin Ke's. However, every time he took the initiative to attack, he fell into the air, and then Jin Ke would go around to the side and give him '5 damage, or go around behind him and give him '10 critical damage. Boss, Jin Ke uses full manual operation, and the automatic lock you use has been studied by him, so you can't hit him. Wu Chuan and Xiaobo did not live in the Wheel and Home community with Jin Ke in the real world, but were arranged by the studio to follow another mentor in another place. Wu Chuan and Xiaobo were in the same villa and were arranged in the same room. Wu Chuan saw that Xiaobo was lagging behind, so of course he turned off the microphone in the mobile game and told Xiaobo the information he had obtained in the real world. I see. Xiaobo in the real world nodded viciously. I think you should also set it to full manual operation in the settings to avoid being plotted against by him again and again. Wu Chuan continued to give Xiaobo advice. This is the only way now. Xiaobo knew that if he didn't change the operation method, he would definitely lose this park. Once he lost this park, not only would he lose all the 550 contribution points he just won to Jin Ke, but he would also owe more than 3,000 contribution points, and he would have to go to the ecological plantation to pick up manure for more than 20 days. Under normal circumstances, players assigned to work in the ecological plantation by the logistics department are to do management work, but those who were punished to enter the ecological plantation are punished with the lowest level of work. Although he is just a character in the game who carries manure, he still has to perform various operations of carrying manure on his mobile phone, and even has to dig holes by hand to bury these manure maggots to grow vegetables. This kind of dirty, hard and tiring bottom-level work not only cannot improve basic attributes, but also makes him sick, and adds various debuffs to the character. The most unacceptable thing is that he worked hard for more than 20 days and did not get any contribution points. All of them had to be used to repay his debt of contribution points. In other words, he worked for Jin Ke for nothing for more than 20 days. So, he can't lose. Absolutely can't lose. However, it is easy to temporarily change the settings to full manual operation. Xiaobo, who has never operated full manual operation, has no idea whether he can operate it well after changing it. If he doesn't change it, he will definitely lose. If he changes it, he can try to gamble. Xiaobo has no choice but to change it. Chapter 54, Helping in Times of Need. Xiaobo gritted his teeth and quickly called up the settings panel, changing the operation mode from automatic lock to advanced full manual operation mode. After the change, Xiaobo manually controlled his character to approach Jin Ke. Now his health value ratio was lower than that of his opponent. If he wanted to turn the situation around, he could only attack actively. Unexpectedly, Jin Ke also approached him. For some reason, Xiaobo suddenly had a premonition of danger in his heart, but he had no choice now and could only bite the bullet. Just when Xiaobo estimated that Jin Ke had entered the attack range of his skills and was about to release the skills, Jin Ke suddenly disappeared from in front of him, and then '5 damage value appeared above his head. Soon, Another '10 critical damage value appeared above his head. Xiaobo hurriedly controlled the character to turn around. After not automatically locking the target, Xiaobo found that no matter how he turned, he could not pull Jin Ke into his field of vision. Jin Ke's figure was always sticking to his side and behind him like a ghost, so that he could not even touch a hair of Jin Ke. After 2'5s, there were 2 more '10 critical hits, leaving Xiaobo with only 4 health points. After changing the operation mode from automatic lock to full manual in the settings, Xiaobo in the game became like a clumsy child who had just learned to walk. Every movement and turn was extremely awkward. This self-abuse operation made Xiaobo want to throw his phone to the ground several times. "Killing you is too easy," Jin Ke said lightly. Another '10 critical hit appeared above Xiaobo's head. Xiaobo's character fell softly to the ground. "Park is over." Jin Ke won. Xiaobo was shut out without losing a drop of blood. The system automatically settled, and Jin Ke's account instantly increased by 4,000 contribution points. Xiaobo originally had 137 contribution points in his account. After winning Fang Yi, the balance increased to 687. Now that he lost 4,000 contribution points, his account instantly became minus 3,313 contribution points. The financial system of the training base will clear each member's account every half an hour. After finding out a large negative amount in Xiaobo's account, the main brain will automatically notify the security guard to come and forcibly take him to the ecological botanical garden to work until he pays off his gambling debts. The proficiency of the assassin profession has increased by 1 point. Another prompt popped up on Jin Ke's mobile phone screen. At the same time, a new function was enabled in Jin Ke's character attribute interface, the professional title system. According to the system description, each profession has a corresponding proficiency level. Proficiency can only be obtained by winning park with other players. When the proficiency reaches a certain value, the corresponding professional title will be obtained. The title has a bonus to the basic attributes. For each new title obtained, you can also get a badge of the corresponding title. After wearing the badge, you can also get a general professional skill attached to the badge, but an assassin can only wear 1 badge at the same time. The assassin profession is divided into 5 levels according to proficiency: apprentice assassin, senior assassin, elite assassin, master assassin and Tanzu Shadow Blade. 100 proficiency points will earn you the title of apprentice assassin, 300 proficiency points will earn you the title of senior assassin, 1000 proficiency points will earn you the title of elite assassin, 2000 proficiency points will earn you the title of Grand Master Assassin, 10,000 proficiency points will earn you the title of Heavenly Punishment Shadow Blade. Jin Ke will not study the proficiency system of the assassin profession for the time being. He is more concerned about the 4,000 contribution points he just got. For Jin Ke, contribution points are attribute values. With contribution points, the character can train basic attributes according to the training plugin plan, so that the training can achieve the best results. Jin Ke's goal is to raise all the attributes that can be trained in this training base to the upper limit that this training base can reach before leaving this training base, which requires a lot of contribution points to support. 4,000 contribution points are just a timely help, enough for him to hang up for nearly a month without working. Of course, Jin Ke would not do that. He would still go to the equipment department to work and find ways to further increase his intimacy with Zheng Shidao so that Zheng Shidao could teach him the rune carving skills. Although he won today's park by fully manual operation, it is an indisputable fact that Jin Ke's starting point is lower than other new players. When most new players realize the importance of full manual operation and give up automatic locking and switch to full manual operation, Jin Ke's advantage is not very obvious. If he can learn such a high inner life skill as rune carving, it will be very beneficial to his future development. Fuck, I was tricked. I was fooled by this bitch. Xiaobo in the real world smashed his mobile phone on the bed in a mad way, holding his head with both hands and looking very angry and crazy. Alas, I shouldn't have advised you to change to full manual if I had known. Wu Chuan looked embarrassed. Xiaobo, who has always used the automatic locking operation method, would definitely be in a mess if he suddenly changed to full manual operation that he had never practiced in the middle of the park. But, wouldn't he still lose if he didn't change it? Coach Yuan, he used despicable means to win. I don't accept it. Xiaobo picked up the phone again, manipulated the character in the game and protested loudly to Coach Yuan Kayang. Not convinced? Then we can have another park. You can continue to be the banker and win back the contribution points you lost. Jin Ke mentioned to Xiaobo, contribution points are something that can never be too much. I didn't see what means he used. There is no cheating in the simulated park field. If you don't accept it, you can fight him again. It's okay. Coach Yuan Kayang shook his head. No, I don't know if you can understand. When we new students perform park operations, we all use the automatic lock-in operation method. He somehow practiced the full manual operation method, and then used this to cheat me. Xiaobo was furious and told Yuan Kayang about the game operation. As long as it is allowed by the rules, there is no problem of cheating. Yuan Kayang answered Xiaobo. His tone and expression were not strange at all, as if he knew that these people were players. Mr. Jin, you are cheating. Is it fun to win like this? Don't you feel ashamed? I am still honored to lose. I am the strongest among the new students. Do you dare to deny it? Xiaobo couldn't convince Yuan Kayang, so he turned around and yelled at Jin Ke. Xiaobo, a great man, said something very philosophical. I wonder if you have heard of it? Jin Ke asked Xiaobo a question. What did he say? Xiaobo had a gloomy face in front of the phone. You don't belong to the 80s, nor the 90s. Jin Ke pretended to be deep. Then what do I belong to? The zeros? Xiaobo didn't understand what Jin Ke wanted to express. He is 19 years old this year, so he should be a 90s, right? No, you are thick-skinned. Jin Ke shook his head. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We are waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 55, The Little One Meets the Big One. The new students didn't understand at first, but after a while they came to their senses and burst into laughter. But Xiaobo was really thick-skinned. He lost the park, but he still said that he was the strongest among the new students. Which great man said such boring words? Why haven't I heard of it? Xiaobo asked Jin Ke with a red face. Me. Jin controlled the character with his hands behind his back and replied with a word. Invisible pretense is the most deadly. The whole audience was silent. There are always people who are thick-skinned. Xiaobo's skills are not as good as others, but he didn't expect that his thickness of face is nothing compared to Jin Ke. Xiaobo, do you still want to challenge him? Otherwise, let's start today's training. Yuan Kayang looked at the time and asked Xiaobo, no more picking. Xiaobo shook his head. Before he had practiced full manual operation, he knew that no matter how many times he picked with Jin Ke, he would definitely lose. This time, he lost face. The old grudge between the equipment department and Jin Ke has not been avenged, and now there is a new hatred. Hate. So much hate. Jin Ke, you bitch. You always hurt me, right? I will remember you. The expressions on the faces of several new students who were originally prepared to laugh at Jin Ke were also quite interesting. They thought Jin Ke was doomed to lose, but they didn't expect that in the end, he would win Xiaobo with full health in such a way. At this time, they looked at Jin Ke in awe in front of the mobile phone screen, instinctively in awe of the game master. No wonder when Xiaobo provoked Jin Ke before, Jin Ke replied to him, killing you is enough. Jin Ke was not bragging. With his current operation level, it was indeed enough to kill Xiaobo. Don't be too proud too soon. You're a scumbag. Your basic output is only 5 points, and you just took advantage of the fact that I haven't mastered the full manual operation yet to trick me. Wait until I'm familiar with the full manual operation after a few days of practice. If you have the ability, don't be scared and dare to park with me. Xiaobo was silent for a while, and then he challenged Jin Ke again in a very unhappy way. No problem, but it's definitely impossible within 20 days. Jin Ke shook his head. You don't dare to fight within 20 days. Are you scared? Xiaobo immediately caught Jin Ke's pigtail and chased him relentlessly. No, I mean, within the next 20 days, you won't have time to park with me. Jin controlled the character and pointed behind Xiaobo. Xiaobo's character looked back and saw 2 security guards coming over. The system just found that you owed 3,313 contribution points. Come with us to the ecological plantation. The two security guards whose strength attributes far exceeded Xiaobo said to Xiaobo, and then forcibly held him on the left and right, and carried him out of the assassin training center. Jin, you wait, Xiaobo said angrily. Okay, I'll wait to abuse you, Jin Ke replied to Xiaobo. You. Xiaobo's voice became farther and farther away. After Xiaobo left, the scene was very quiet, and all the students looked at Jin Ke again. Well, I'm the boss now. Who doesn't accept it? You can challenge me. Jin Ke thought for a while and asked everyone. I accept it. I accept it. I accept it too. I accept it wholeheartedly. I accept it with my heart. I accept it without leaning against the wall. All the students shook their heads. Today they have opened their eyes. There are always people who are better than you. There are always better things. Originally, they thought Fang Yi was the strongest, but Fang Yi lost to Xiaobo. Later, they thought Xiaobo was the strongest, but they didn't expect that they would be abused by Jin Ke after provoking him. Xiaobo had no temper at all, and he was beaten to death without losing a drop of blood. All the students present are using the automatic lock operation without exception. In this case, they park with Jin Ke, and there is only one result, that is, like Xiaobo, they died without even touching Jin Ke's hair. Zhu Shu, who lives in the same villa with Jin Ke, was shocked at this time. The masters in the game are indeed hidden. He originally thought that Jin Ke was a rookie, but he didn't expect that he was a legendary super master. There are three elements to success. One is persistence, the second is thick-skinned, and the third is persistent and thick-skinned. Jin Ke not only trains very hard, but also has a thick skin. It is unfair that such a person is not successful. Jin Ke knew that he could easily defeat Xiaobo, but he waited quietly for Xiaobo to take the initiative to park and take the initiative to be the banker. He said that he didn't like gambling, and then he liked gambling again. While earning a net profit of 4,000 contribution points, he sent Xiaobo to the ecological park to pick up manure in one fell swoop, and then pretended to be a great man. This forbearance and scheming cannot be done without a thick enough face. The output energy test and 2 PKs consumed half an hour of today's training time. After no one proposed park again, Yuan Kaiyang started today's training class. The training content for new students is mainly to teach students the basic action skills of assassins, such as the posture of holding weapons, stabbing, slashing and other basic actions, as well as the skills of foot movement, etc. For players in front of their mobile phones, they don't need to really do what Coach Yuan Kaiyang said. They just need to press some buttons, and the characters in the game will train these basic skills over and over again. In this process, the weapon proficiency and basic footwork of assassin players will gradually increase. Every level of weapon proficiency will increase the damage output slightly, and every level of basic footwork will increase the player's dodge rate slightly. Although it is small each time, it is a great supplement to strength when accumulated. With the guidance of professional coaches, the improvement of weapon proficiency and basic footwork will be much faster than training alone. The higher the level of weapon proficiency and basic footwork of professional coaches, the more obvious the effect of this improvement, and the higher the upper limit of the improvement, similar to the effect of a certain buff halo. In a group training class, the coach faces more than a dozen students at the same time, and the improvement effect will be diluted. However, the improvement effect of individual tutoring training classes will be several times that of group tutoring training classes. This is why Xiaobo is so eager to prove that he is the top of the new students. What he is fighting for is his own interests and his own future. If he can get half an hour of individual tutoring training from the coach every day, the improvement in strength will be very obvious, and the growth in strength will far exceed that of other students. However, tonight this benefit fell on Jin Ke. Jin Ke defeated Xiaobo, and other new students did not challenge Jin Ke today. Now Jin Ke has become the top new student under Coach Yuan Kaiyang. Coach Yuan Kaiyang must follow his promise and give Jin Ke at least half an hour of individual tutoring after the group tutoring time is over and the students are allowed to practice on their own. Chapter 56 Good or bad? Your performance in the park just now was very good, which impressed me. In fact, I might as well tell you that before you put with Xiaobo, I originally wanted to write an application to let you leave the assassin training center, but now I have decided to try to train you for a while." Yuan Qiang said a few words to Jin Ke while tutoring him individually. "Oh, okay." Jin Ke was persuaded to quit by Yuan Qiang before, and he didn't have a good impression of this NPC in his heart, but he would not be angry with an NPC. The NPCs in the game are used by players in various ways. If there is benefit, they will be exploited, and if there is no benefit, they will be thrown aside, so he will not argue with Yuan Qiang verbally to affect his training results. "There is something I want to discuss with you," Yuan Qiang spoke again. "What's the matter?" "It's just, Xiaobo is actually a very good seedling. With a little training, he will be a very good assassin. I don't know what the conflict is between him and you, but now the result is that he is forced to be sent to the ecological plantation, which will greatly delay his future development. Can you give me a favor and give him a chance to reduce his debt so that he can leave the ecological plantation as soon as possible, and let him slowly repay the contribution points he owes you in the future?" Yuan Qiang proposed to Jin Ke. "Relieve his debt? How to do it? Don't you have 4,000 more contribution points in your account? You can't transfer it to him and ask him to write a promissory note to you to set a repayment date and pay it back slowly, so that he can train and work to pay off his debts. The negative value in his account will be eliminated, and he can leave the ecological plantation early," Yuan Qiang explained to Jin Ke. "This. Oh, Coach Yuan, why didn't you tell me earlier? It would have been fine a few minutes earlier. I'm really sorry. I got hurt when I hit my head against the wall a while ago. I borrowed a lot of contribution points from my friends for treatment. It cost more than 5,000 contribution points in total. After I got these 4,000 contribution points just now, I immediately transferred them back to several friends. Now there is nothing left in my account, and I still owe more than 1,000 contribution points to my friends." Jin Ke patted his head with regret. "Ah, so unfortunate." Yuan Qiang looked a little depressed. "Coach Yuan, I'm sorry, it's not that I don't give you face, I just have no power." "By the way, Coach Yuan, do you have extra contribution points in your account? Can you lend me 2,000 points? People should keep their promises. I owed my friends contribution points for a long time. I want to pay them off as soon as possible, and save some money for food. I haven't eaten enough these days, which seriously affects the training effect." Jin Ke made a very distressed expression. What Jin Ke lacks the most now is contribution points. You want him to take out the contribution points that have been put into his account, and you want him to take them out to save an enemy who is unhappy with him? No way. However, Jin Ke did not want to offend the coach NPC in front of him and affect his training results, so he would not give any contribution points, but he still had to say it in a proper way, with reason, evidence, and courtesy. For this kind of person who has a bad relationship with him or even an enemy and asks for money through an intermediary, if he does not want to lend it out, the best way is that if you ask me to borrow money, then I will also ask you to borrow money. I am so miserable and you are unwilling to lend it to me, why should I lend it to you? Oh, is that so? Then forget it, I will think of another way. In addition, I am a moonlighter and I don't have many contribution points in my account. I am afraid I can't help you with the contribution points. Sorry. Yuan Qiang quickly stopped talking. He originally wanted Jin Ke to take out the contribution points to save Xiaobo, but now he asked him to borrow money instead. It seems that this topic can no longer be raised with Jin Ke. Yuan Qiang really admired Xiaobo. Although Jin Ke defeated Xiaobo, his 5 points of basic damage made him feel that Jin Ke's future training value was not great. Xiaobo had a good foundation and strong skills, and he had unlimited possibilities in the future. The training base's assessment of coaches like them mainly depends on how many excellent students they can bring out. Yuan Qiang was reluctant to lose Xiaobo, although Jin Ke did not agree to Yuan Qiang's request, because the reasons were reasonable and sufficient. Yuan Qiang could not blame Jin Ke for anything, nor was he upset with Jin Ke. He still coached Jin Ke with all his heart. Maybe because it was Jin Ke's first time to participate in the training, the effect was particularly obvious. In one night, his dagger proficiency rose from LV1 to LV3, and the damage output of dagger-type weapons increased by 3%. The basic pace also rose from LV1 to LV2, and the dodge rate increased by 0.2%. Training base, dormitory area, Zheng Shidao's dormitory. Old Zheng, it's me. After the doorbell rang, Liu Junming's voice came from the intercom beside the door. Liu Junming was the one who guarded the machine in the assassin's job transfer room and helped Jin Ke find out the multiple souls. Zheng Shidao put down the teacup in his hand, picked up the hatch remote control and opened the hatch of the dormitory. Come over for some tea? Zheng Shidao glanced at Liu Junming at the door. Hey, of course I have to drink a few cups of good tea, but I came here today because I have something to talk to you about. After Liu Junming saw that the hatch was closed, he sat down opposite Zheng Shidao, picked up the teacup and teapot, and poured a cup of tea from the teapot. What's the matter, good or bad? Zheng Shidao drank tea slowly. Last time a kid came to my place, and I helped him to change his job to assassin. He brought me a bag of good tea, saying that he was your apprentice, and that he had a close relationship with you, like a family member. Liu Junming talked to Zheng Shidao while drinking tea. Oh, you mean Zhak? He is my only apprentice. Zheng Shidao couldn't help but look a little kinder when he heard Liu Junming say he is like a family member to you. Yes, it's him. What I want to talk about today is also about him. Liu Junming frowned deliberately. What's the matter? Zheng Shidao looked at Liu Junming's expression and felt that it was not a good thing. This kid is quite likable. I feel very compatible with him when I met him. You are a really good apprentice. Liu Junming continued. You don't lack manpower there. Are you trying to poach my apprentice? Zheng Shidao immediately frowned. Before Jin Ke went to the equipment department, no one could do the dirty and hard work. He had no choice but to do it himself. After Jin Ke came, he did a very serious and perfect job of repairing and welding nails, which made his work much easier these days. Therefore, Liu Junming could say anything, but he must not poach his apprentice. I'm not short of people. Why would I poach your people? I just have something very important to tell you about your apprentice. Liu Junming shook his head and poured himself another cup of tea. If you have something to say, just say it. If you have something to say it now. You're just dawdling because you want to drink a few more cups of tea, right? Zheng Shidao snatched the teapot from Liu Junming's hand. Chapter 57. The risk is too great. Hey, old man Zheng, why are you still so impatient? This matter is more complicated. Just listen to me slowly. Liu Junming picked up the teacup and took a sip of tea, with an expression of enjoyment on his face. Zheng Shidao did not urge him, but he kept holding the teapot in his hand. The meaning was very clear, that if you don't say it, don't even think about getting another cup of tea from me. It's like this, I think Zhak and I are quite compatible, and he is your apprentice. He is like a family member to you, so I did a soul energy test for him for free. Guess what the result of the test is? Liu Junming kept it a secret. If you want to say it, just say it. If you don't want to say it, get out. Zheng Shidao didn't support Liu Junming's suspense at all. Poor Zhak, he is a multi-soul body, even more unlucky than me. Liu Junming sighed. What did you say? I said Zhak is a multi-soul body, alas. Useless. Useless. Liu Junming repeated. This kid is too unlucky, isn't he? Zheng Shidao's face turned ugly. You are the only one in this base who knows my secret. You know how hard I have been through these years. I can see that Zhak is a very strong-willed kid. This incident must have been a big blow to him. If possible, I really want to help him. Liu Junming took the teapot from Zheng Shidao's hand while he was dazed, and poured himself another cup of tea. You mean the statue you hid in the temple? Zheng Shidao was silent for a long time before he spoke. That's right. Liu Junming's eyes flashed with joy. After so many years, you still refuse to give up. Zheng Shidao shook his head. I gave up a long time ago. I'm so old now, it's meaningless to try so hard. But Zhak is still young. Maybe the statue can help him. You should be able to imagine how much I spent to get the formula of this soul-dividing potion, and the precious raw materials I have accumulated will probably expire if I keep them. Only by getting the insect eggs in this statue and combining them with your runes can we make it successfully. Liu Junming lowered his voice. Bringing insect eggs back to the base is a serious violation. Once people know about it, we will all go to jail. The risk is too great. Zhang Shidao shook his head again. I know, so I'm just talking to you casually. Doc is your apprentice and treats you like a family member. Maybe he will help you in your old age. It's up to you to decide what to do and whether to help him. Without the soul-dividing potion, he will be inferior to others all his life. With the soul-dividing potion, maybe he will become a genius, Yu Junmin said with shining eyes, and at the same time poured the last cup of tea in the teapot into the cup. Zhang Shidao didn't say anything, and kept thinking. I've heard before that if dual soul and multi-soul bodies learn rune carving, they will have more advantages than ordinary people. Old Zhang, you should know more about this than me, right? Yu Junmin continued to ask indirect questions. Is your formula reliable? And my rune attainments are not as great as you think. What if the product is not right and causes his soul to collapse and die? Have you considered the risks in this regard? Zhang Shidao was still very hesitant. Don't I have 2 sets of materials? Make one for me to try first, and if it's fine, give it to him. Anyway, my old bones are useless. Yu Junmin immediately proposed to Zhang Shidao. Come to think of it, you still haven't given up. Zhang Shidao saw through Yu Junmin at a glance. Well, what can I do if I don't give up? My life has already been set. At my age, I can't practice even if I succeed in splitting my soul. I think the most important thing for us 2 old bachelors is to find a way to train Jacques. If the soul-splitting agent is really successful, I will give him some other benefits and fortunes in the future. If he is a man who values love and friendship, his glory will be our glory in the future. Yu Junmin continued to sip this last cup of tea slowly. How about this? Before this matter, you do me a favor first, test whether he is reliable and whether he really treats me as a family member. Then I can decide whether to take such a big risk for him. If you do me this favor, I will not treat you unfairly when the next season of tea is harvested. Zhang Shidao pondered for a long time and then proposed to Yu Junmin. I will definitely help you with this favor, you say. Yu Junmin looked at Zhang Shidao with a smile. In the next few days, I will take him away from the base to move the statue. At that time, you just need to cooperate with me. Zhang Shidao told Yu Junmin his plan. Yeah, that's a good idea. We can see from his performance whether he is a man of loyalty and righteousness, whether he really treats you as a family member, and whether it is worth our risk and investment in him. Yu Junmin gave Zhang Shidao a thumbs up. 3 days later. Horror City Mobile Game, Equipment Department. Boy, come in. Zhang Shidao waved to Jin Ke, who was busy outside in the workshop. Oh, Jin Ke, who was hanging up in the real world, heard the warning sound of the mobile phone plug-in and knew what happened when he was hanging up. He picked up the phone and saw that it was Zhang Shidao who was looking for him, so he quickly responded and controlled the character to enter Zhang Shidao's workshop. After Zhang Shidao closed the hatch of the workshop, he sat down at a table and motioned Jin Ke to sit across from the table. On the table was an alloy breastplate and a short knife. Boy, do you want to know about rune carving? Zhang Shidao took the initiative to ask Jin Ke. Yes. Jin Ke couldn't help but feel a little excited when he heard Zhang Shidao say that. It seemed that because of his hard work and high-quality work, Zhang Shidao's favorability towards him had increased a lot. Generally speaking, NPCs in the game will have a favorability setting. Only when the favorability is high can some special tasks be triggered. I wonder if the task of learning rune carving techniques from Zhang Shidao will be triggered today. Do you know why these armor equipment can protect our bodies? Why can these weapons cause damage to wild monsters or our opponents? Zhang Shidao pointed to the breastplate and dagger on the table and asked Jin Ke a question first. Because they are made of super alloy and are very strong? Jin Ke pretended not to understand to satisfy Zhang Shidao's desire to explain. No, it's because it contains runes of dark energy. Zhang Shidao shook his head, then picked up the alloy breastplate and stroked the runes engraved on the metal plate with his fingers. Oh! Jin Ke clicked on the alloy armor in Zhang Shidao's hand. He could clearly see the carved runes on it. Each stroke of the runes was surrounded by a faint black mist, giving people a very mysterious feeling. Chapter 58. 3 Conditions. These armors are just carriers. Even if they are made of alloy, they are still very fragile when facing the attack of energy weapons. But it is different after the runes are engraved on them. They immediately have powerful protective capabilities and can form a circuit with the soul energy of our body. The denser the runes, the stronger the protective ability of the equipment. The rune engraving machine I use is very basic, and my rune engraving skills are also very ordinary, so I can only engrave very basic energy runes on these equipment, resulting in the protection of these equipment. The same reason, these weapons were originally just ordinary weapons, but because these runes allow them to form a circuit with our soul energy, their lethality is doubled. Zheng Shidao continued to say. I see. Jin continued to echo. He knew that Zheng Shidao wanted to tell him more than just this. Do you want to learn rune engraving? Zheng Shidao asked Jin Ke. Yes. Okay, I can teach you my rune engraving skills. But there are 3 conditions. Zheng Shidao asked Jin Ke seriously. What are the 3 conditions? The first condition is that you must take me as your master, and take care of me when I am old. Of course, before I am old, I will also protect you and not let others bully you at will. This first condition is non-negotiable. Can you agree? Zheng Shidao looked proud. You are already my master. Jin Ke agreed. Of course, after playing so many games, the protagonists in various games often have plots of taking a master because of various game plots. So it doesn't matter if he takes one more. In addition, old man Zheng is in such good health, it should be okay for him to be alive and kicking for more than 10 years. The speed of time in the game world is the same as that in the real world. Take care of him in his old age? Can this game be played for a lifetime? Ha 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 ha. That's great. From now on, we will be a master and apprentice relationship. With me here, I guarantee that no one in this base dares to bully you. Zheng Shidao seemed very happy. This old man has a bit of a weird temper, but he is wholeheartedly good to the people around him. Jin Ke's hard work and high quality during this period made Zheng Shidao feel that he was a very hard-working junior and a promising talent, so he decided to accept Jin Ke as his apprentice. But accepting Jin Ke as an apprentice is one thing, and whether Jin Ke can pass his test is another. Only if Jin Ke passes his subsequent test will he wholeheartedly pass on his life's learning to Jin Ke, and take the risk to try to refine the soul dividing agent for him with Liu Junmei. Otherwise, even the master-disciple relationship can be dissolved. The second condition is that you have to go out with me and help me with a moving job. Zheng Shidao continued. This is also no problem. Jin Ke's heart was pounding. Is he going to do an out-of-town mission? What is the world outside the training base like? Jin Ke has played countless games before, but no game is like the Horror City game. He has played for more than 2 months and has not even left the novice village like the training base. However, the more this kind of repression, the more curious the players are about the world outside the training base. Although he was curious, Jin Ke would not try to sneak out to explore. Of course, he couldn't sneak out. For Jin Ke, keeping this job was the most important thing at the moment. Now that the NPC in the game said that he wanted to go out with him, he had the opportunity to get in touch with the outside world in advance and answer some of his questions about the game. I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing. You know, in his original plan, he wanted to train all the attributes to the highest level before leaving the training base to go out for adventure. But it can be imagined that in order to gain a foothold in this game and make the character grow and become stronger faster, he can't hide in the training base all the time, right? Following these NPCs to do some relatively safe field work should help him understand the game more deeply, so that he can be more calm than other new players when facing future dangers. So after Zheng Shidao proposed this second condition to him, Jin Ke agreed after a little thought. The third condition is, once you have learned the rune carving skills, when you carve runes on these old equipment, you will not get any contribution points from me. That is, all the contribution points obtained from these jobs belong to me. Zheng Shidao proposed the third condition. But master, I also need to eat. I will starve to death without contribution points. Please consider this third condition again. Jin Ke felt very strange about this third condition. Did the old man want to train him as a free laborer? Although he could learn rune carving skills, he still had to bargain when it was time to do so. He couldn't just swallow this loss. From now on, I will be responsible for all your meals. I will notify the cafeteria that all the food you eat in the cafeteria will be recorded in my account. Zhang Shidao seemed to have considered this issue long ago. I have a big appetite. Are you responsible? I have to make sure I am full. Jin worked and trained 24 hours a day, especially basic training such as strength, endurance, speed, and agility, which consumed a lot of food. If he didn't control himself, he would have to eat dozens of eggs and other kinds of food a day, and it would be no problem for him to eat the amount of food that others would eat in 3 days. In order to save contribution points, Jin Ke sometimes even had to control his character's food intake. If Zhang Shidao was responsible for providing all his meals, he would no longer have to control his food intake. It would be easy for him to eat more than 100 contribution points or even more than 200 contribution points a day, and he would have earned back his wages. The 4,000 contribution points won from the park bet with Albo could also be saved to exchange for some useful props and items at the training base. Of course, I'll make sure you're full. Zhang Shidao agreed. As one of the more senior personnel in the base, Zhang Shidao even owned a portion of the cafeteria's shares. Helping Jin Ke sign orders at the cafeteria would only mean less dividends at the quarterly settlement, which was not a big problem for him. Okay, I agree to these 3 conditions. Master, can you teach me the rune carving skills? Jin Ke looked expectant. Don't be too happy too soon. My teaching you is one thing, and whether you can learn it or not is another. Before learning the skill of rune carving, you must practice energy cultivation. It is not so easy to succeed in energy cultivation that coordinates with rune carving and opens up the corresponding energy circuits. In this regard, not only does it require extraordinary diligence and hard work, but it also depends on each person's talent. Before you, I had 5 apprentices, 3 of whom gave up because they couldn't bear the hardship of energy cultivation. The remaining 2 practiced for 3 months without any progress, and finally had to give up. Zhang Shidao continued. Chapter 59, Do your best and leave the rest to fate. Thanks to Kiki's uncle for the 50,000 starting coins. Oh, is energy training difficult? Yes, it's difficult. Otherwise, why do you think I am the only rune master in the training base? If I teach you the method of energy training, but you still can't open up the energy circuits required for rune carving skills in your body within 3 months, you will be like my previous 5 apprentices, and our relationship as master and apprentice will end at that time. Zhang Shidao added a few more words in a serious manner. In addition to learning rune carving, energy training should have some other benefits, right? Why is there no special energy training center in the base? Jin Ke felt that he seemed to have discovered the hidden plot in the game, so he simply asked Zhang Shidao some deeper questions. Of course, energy cultivation is not just for carving runes. Its greatest benefit is reflected in the strengthening of the soul. The strength of a normal person's soul is fixed at around the age of 12 or 13, and it can no longer be improved throughout a lifetime. But through energy cultivation, the strength of the soul can be further enhanced. After the strength of the soul is enhanced, the body can even be transformed into energy, becoming an immortal existence in the universe. Zhang Shidao's eyes showed a fanatical look. Soul strength is a hidden attribute besides basic attributes like strength and endurance, right? You can say that, but there are very few people who are suitable for energy cultivation, and there are too many and too diverse energy cultivation methods. If you are not careful, your soul will collapse and you will die. The training center used to have many basic energy cultivation methods, but 90% of the people who tried to practice them failed to grasp the door, wasted their time and achieved nothing. Another 10% became crazy or even died on the spot while practicing, so all these methods were banned. My unique energy cultivation method was taught to me by a senior by chance. It has a very simple function, which is mainly to open up the several energy circuits required for rune carving. The limit of this method is that it can break through the bottleneck of the first level of energy cultivation. Because of its single function, it is relatively safe. Unfortunately, my talent is limited. After decades of practice, I have not been able to break through the bottleneck of the first level of energy cultivation, so the runes I can carve now are very elementary. This rune book was given to me by that senior. 90% of the runes on it require the cultivation of the first level of energy cultivation to be successfully carved. Unfortunately, I can only watch this treasure mountain and do nothing. Zhang Shidao took out an old book from his clothes and carefully opened it page by page for Jin to see. There were strings of very complex runes on it, and Jin could not understand a single word. You definitely can't understand it now, but it doesn't matter. After you open up the energy circuit required for rune carving, I will gradually teach you the skills related to rune carving. If you are lucky enough to break through the cultivation of the first level of energy in a few years, you can carve these more complex runes on equipment and weapons, improve the grade of equipment and weapons, and add more additional attributes to equipment and weapons. Zhang Shidao encouraged Jin Ke. After Master taught me the energy cultivation method, I will definitely work hard to cultivate. No matter how hard it is, I will persist for at least 3 months. Whether it can be successful or not, I will do my best and leave it to fate. Jin Ke expressed his attitude to Zhang Shidao. I am willing to teach you because I saw your diligence and hard work. This is also your greatest asset, but whether it can be successful in the end, I can only do my best and leave it to fate. Zhang Shidao admired Jin Ke's attitude very much. The path of energy cultivation is extremely difficult. If you are not careful, you may even die. The level of energy cultivation determines the upper limit of a rune master. Zhang Shidao started energy cultivation because of the opportunity decades ago, but after decades of cultivation, he could not break through the bottleneck of the first level of energy cultivation. The predecessor who taught him the energy cultivation method once said that the most important thing in energy cultivation is to have a normal mind, and you must enter a state of unity between man and nature when practicing. If you are eager for quick success and rush for quick results, you will eventually achieve nothing. A normal mind is easier said than done. Who in this world does not want to succeed in martial arts? Who does not want to be the one who stands at the top of the world and overlooks all living beings? Jin Ke's words, "Do your best and leave the rest to fate," are in line with the senior's words. Maybe this new apprentice can really succeed. Even decades later, his achievements will be higher than his. What is the second condition of the 3 conditions mentioned by the master? Going out with the master to do some moving work. Jin Ke asked Zhang Shidao carefully. After all, this matter involves the safety of the character, so he can't be careless. When I was out before, I found a strange statue in a dilapidated temple deep in the mountains. The statue has some unknown secrets related to energy cultivation and rune carving. I want to bring it back and study it slowly. It may also have some unexpected benefits for you, but I don't want other people in the base to know about this. Are you willing to help me? When you go out, I can rent you a complete set of equipment to ensure your safety. Zhang Shidao asked Jin Ke. At the same time, a yellow question mark appeared above Zhang Shidao's head, which was considered a task officially released by the system. Mission objective: assist Zhang Shidao in transporting the mysterious statue back to the base. Mission reward: energy cultivation method taught by Zhang Shidao. Mission requirements: the mission content must be kept secret from everyone, otherwise Zhang Shidao's intimacy will be reset to 0. Mission danger level assessment: E level. Will this mission be very dangerous? Jin Ke asked Zhang Shidao again after reading the mission details. All items and items in this game, such as missions, equipment, injections, skills, chips, etc., are graded using S, A, B, C, D, and E. E level is the lowest level, and above it is 2E level, 3E level, then D level, 2D level, 3D level, until S level, 2S level, and 3S level. The danger level of this mission is the lowest level, E level, which means that there will not be too much danger. Although it has been quantified, Jin Ke still decided to ask Zhang Shidao for more details. After all, his character only has one life. Once he dies, he will lose this well-paid job. The character that he has cultivated for several months cannot be re-registered after death, which is a bit costly. If we go during the day, there won't be much danger. My life profession is an equipment engineer, but my combat profession is a warrior ranked at D level. Even if there is any danger, It will be enough to protect you. You just need to help me pull the cart. Zhang Shidao showed off his arm muscles and answered Jin Ke. Chapter 60 Beggar Sect Disciple. Jin Ke had just changed his job to assassin and had never participated in a ranking match. He was not even an E-level assassin. If he wanted to be evaluated as an E-level assassin, he had to participate in the ranking match and get a certain number of stars. Zhang Shidao was a warrior and had reached the D level, which meant that he had much stronger combat power and richer combat experience than Jin Ke. This field mission was equivalent to carrying out the mission with a powerful NPC. With the protection of a D-level warrior, the danger level would not be too high. Okay, deal. Jin Ke originally had no chance to learn energy cultivation, equipment maintenance, and rune carving skills. Now that he had the opportunity to learn, he would certainly not miss this opportunity. Even if there were certain risks, it was worth it. After Jin Ke agreed, Zhang Shidao began to prepare for the mission. He rented Jin Ke a set of leather armor with runes engraved on it for protection. He himself was fully armed and wore a set of warrior equipment made of metal plates. The warrior equipment on Zhang Shidao was the same grade as the assassin equipment rented to Jin Ke. Both are E-level equipment, but the protection is much higher. And of course it is also much heavier. Wearing such a bulky equipment, Zhang Shidao is not very convenient to carry. Although Jin Ke's assassin leather armor equipment has weaker protection, its advantage is that it is very light and hardly affects his mobility, so the carrying work falls on him. The task will be carried out during the day tomorrow. Zhang Shidao asked Jin Ke not to work overtime at night and have a good rest in the dormitory. At dinner time, Jin controlled his character to go to the cafeteria. Unexpectedly, when he swiped his card to get food, he found that he could sign the bill in Zhang Shidao's name. So he ate and drank without hesitation. The various basic attribute training of game characters requires a lot of protein to stimulate the growth of body muscles. Ensuring a good diet and combining it with scientific training with plugins can maximize the growth of various basic attributes of his game character. After dinner, Jin Ke took his mobile phone to check his first set of equipment in the game. Once the character in the game dies, he will have to resign automatically. The safety of the character in the game is related to the lives of him and Xue'er during this period. In order not to lose this job, even if it is a set of the lowest grade equipment, as long as it can provide more protection for the character in the game, it is good. There are 6 pieces of equipment in total: a worn-out light leather hat, a worn-out light leather armor, a worn-out light leather gloves, a worn-out light leather shoes, a worn-out light leather shoulder guard, and a worn-out light leather leggings. The equipment is indeed very worn out, as the name describes. The training base got the tattered equipment from somewhere. There were many holes on it. Many patches were made in the equipment department, and the patches were cut from even more tattered equipment in different colors, just like the old leather clothes that were patched many times in the old society. Jin Ke deeply suspected that these patches were his masterpieces when he was idle. The patching skills looked very good, and the materials were used to the fullest. The patches were patched everywhere and were extremely solid. It was not without reason that Zhang Shidao was very satisfied with his work some time ago and increased his intimacy. After zooming in on each piece of equipment on the phone screen, you can see that the surface of the equipment is engraved with strange runes, and some black mist lingers in the strokes of the runes, giving the equipment a touch of mystery. After clicking on the leather hat, you can see the relevant instructions for the leather hat: a worn-out lightweight leather hat, protection +1. The leather armor used in this leather hat is very light and suitable for shooters and assassins with less strength. Wearing requirements: strength, 8 points, endurance, 8 points, agility, 15 points. Note 1 point of protection value means that it can withstand attacks equivalent to 1 point of dark energy level. Protection +1 means that this helmet can withstand damage caused by attacks equivalent to 1 point of dark energy level at most. Note 2. 1 point of dark energy level damage is equivalent to 10 points of damage output by ordinary players. Note 3. When all the armor on the body protects the body, the protection value will be superimposed to generate an overall energy protection field. Unless the overall energy protection field is destroyed, the main body's health will be truly damaged. The descriptions of other parts are similar to the leather hat. The protection levels are all between 1 and 2 points. Because it is the most basic equipment, it does not have any additional attributes except protection level. The 6 pieces of armor provide a total of 7 points of protection value. The protective field formed by 7 points of protection value can offset a total of 70 points of player output damage, which is equivalent to having half a life. Jin calculated it quickly in his mind. After carefully studying the equipment description, Jin tried to put on the whole set of equipment. Wearing equipment in the mobile game Horror City is different from other games. In other games, you can change the equipment on the character's body by clicking the corresponding equipment with the mouse or finger. But in the mobile game Horror City, after choosing to wear a certain equipment, the character really puts the equipment on his body one by one like wearing clothes. When wearing a leather breastplate, you must first put the leather armor on your body, so detailed that the character reaches out to zip up the hidden zipper on the side of the waist without missing it. The leather hat must be put on the head with your hands. When wearing leather shoes, the character even finds a stool to sit down and then takes off the pair of shoes he originally wore, and then slowly puts the leather shoes on his feet. It took the character in the game more than 5 minutes to put on all the equipment. At this time, if you check the character's attributes again, you will find that the protection value has increased by 7 points. Jin Ke remembered that in all the games he had played before, every time the game character changed into a new set of higher grade equipment, the character would look more handsome and more domineering. However, in the mobile game Horror City, after Jin Ke put on his first set of equipment, he did not have the handsome and domineering feeling of changing into new equipment in other games. The character who originally looked normal, after putting on this whole set of equipment with colorful patches, looked like a disciple of the beggar gang. The only difference was that he didn't have a dog-beating stick in his hand. It was not as good-looking as the clothes the character originally wore. Does it have to be so realistic to make a game? Jin Ke was speechless about this. He would find a chance to give Old Man Zhang a suggestion later. After mending the equipment, he could add a painting process and then rune carving. Forget it. One more process will definitely fall on his head in the end, and he can't earn more contribution points. Let's just be the beggar sect. It doesn't matter whether the equipment looks good or not. What matters is the protection value. With this set of equipment, Jin Ke will have more than half a life in the wild, and he will be more calm when encountering wild monsters. Tomorrow I can finally leave the training base, find out what the outside world is like. Chapter 61 Mutated Black Corpse. Thank you to Xue'er City for giving me 100,000 starting coins. Thank you to Xue'er City for giving me the first leader of this book. The next day, the equipment department of the training base. After we go out, the monsters we encounter are generally the lowest level black corpses. Black corpses are transformed from ordinary humans who absorb dark energy after death. Their health is similar to that of ordinary people, and their main attack methods are claws and bites. These black corpses will not form groups without the command of a corpse brain lord. They even repel each other and will automatically stay away when they sense each other's breath, so they all appear alone in the wild. With me here, this single black corpse will not pose any threat to you. I will deal with it. If you want to practice, you can also take action when it is safe. Zhang Shidao explained the details of the task to Jin Ke, so that he would be mentally prepared before going out, so as not to panic when encountering small wild monsters. Black corpses are similar to zombies, right? Will ordinary people like us be infected and become black corpses after being bitten? Jin consulted Zhang Shidao. Zombies are formed by virus infection, but black corpses are different. Black corpses are formed by dead humans absorbing dark energy. They will not be infected if bitten, but will only be bitten to death or injured. If they are bitten to death in the wild and become corpses, they will also turn into black corpses after absorbing the dark energy of the night. But this situation does not belong to infection. Zhang Shidao shook his head. Do you need to destroy their heads to attack them? Will attacking the head cause critical damage? Jin continued to ask. The NPCs in this game are very smart and they can understand everything they say. You don't need to deliberately destroy their heads. After attacking them, energy nodes will appear randomly on their bodies. Attacking the energy nodes will cause super energy critical damage. Zhang Shidao answered Jin Ke's question. Random appearance? In other words, the energy nodes may not appear. Under what circumstances will the energy nodes appear most likely? Jin Ke knew that after his death dance was marked 5 times, the target would definitely have energy nodes, but he was not very clear about how the energy nodes appeared in other circumstances. Energy nodes usually appear after the black corpses are attacked continuously and intensively, and the time they appear is only a moment, as short as a fraction of a second. The higher the level of the monster, the shorter the time the energy nodes appear. Without long-term and hard training, it is difficult to effectively hit the energy nodes in actual combat. For a warrior profession like me, because I swing my weapon very slowly, I basically don't have to consider the possibility of hitting the energy nodes to form a super energy critical hit. Even if I hit it, it is accidental. Actively hitting the energy nodes to form a super energy critical hit is generally the patent of the assassin profession and the archer profession. Zhang Shidao continued to explain to Jin Ke very patiently. Tank professions and magic professions also attack slowly, and they can't effectively hit the energy nodes, right? Jin continued to ask. It would be a waste not to ask at this time. He is a multi-soul body, and he may have the opportunity to develop all professions in the future, so he must find an opportunity to understand the characteristics of each profession. Yes, in addition to the Black Corpse, will we encounter any other monsters in this mission? It is impossible to encounter other monsters in this mountainous area of our mission, even if we encounter them. They can only be mutant black corpses. Zhang Shidao seemed to have been waiting for Jin Ke to ask this question. How strong is the mutated black corpse's attack power? The mutated black corpse is huge, about 3 or 4 meters tall, with thick skin and flesh, very strong and resistant to blows, and strong attack power. It runs very fast, and it is very difficult to get rid of it. Once you're stuck on it, you will be stabbed to death and then dismembered. But it has a characteristic. That is, its body is extremely heavy. When it appears, you can hear its footsteps from a long distance away, just like a pile driver hitting the ground, letting everyone know. Hunai will even issue a warning before its footsteps appear. If a mutated black corpse appears, we can escape in advance if we feel something is wrong. Zhang Shidao explained to Jin Ke. Hunai was the name of his wolf dog. Master, is your strength not enough to deal with the mutant black corpse? Do you need a sea-level warrior to deal with the mutant black corpse? That's not true. Dealing with the mutant black corpse mainly depends on the number of people and tactics. If the tactics are right, a group of E-level novices can deal with it. For example, if there is a mage and an archer in the team, the mage can freeze it to slow down its movement speed, and cooperate with the archer to fly a kite from a distance. Although it has thick skin and flesh and 500 to 1000 health points, if the tactics are right, a group of E-level novices can control it and shoot it to death. I am a warrior profession. The mutant black corpse has higher defense and stronger attack power than me, and its health points are several times mine. Even if my strength reaches D level, it is definitely a death sentence to confront it head-on without a mage to control the field. Zhang Shidao explained in detail to Jin Ke. This also means that if we encounter a mutant black corpse, we can only escape. There is no other choice. Jin Ke summarized. Yes, we can only run away. Otherwise we will definitely die. But you don't have to worry too much. The field team of the training base will clean up the mutated black corpses nearby every once in a while. It is unlikely that we will encounter this thing on the way there. Even if we do, we can escape it as long as we run away in advance. Zhang Shidao shook his head. By the way, Master, what is the situation outside the training base at night? Why do all the rules and regulations emphasize that you can't go out at night, and those who go out on missions must rush back to the base before night falls? Jin Ke took the opportunity to ask a few more questions. The night outside the training base, I don't know what the situation is, because all those who go out at night and all those who haven't returned from the mission at night, all. Zhang Shidao frowned. All dead? You can say that when we found them the next day, they had all turned into black corpses, without a single exception. Without a single exception. In this case, doesn't it mean that everyone can't leave the training base too far? If you leave too far and can't come back at night, you will definitely die? Jin couldn't help but feel a little confused. The design of the mobile game is a bit unreasonable. No, There is more than just our base in this world. There are also many shelters. There are underground stations on the routes connecting the bases and shelters. If you can't get back to the training base before dark, it will be relatively safer to hide in the nearest underground station. If you go out on a mission, the base will give you a map to tell you the location of the nearby safe stations. I see. Jin Ke nodded. No other questions, right? Let's set off quickly while it's still early. Okay. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We are waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 62 Cataclysm. After everything was ready, Zhang Shidao asked Jin Ke to push a small cart from the warehouse and follow him. Zhang Shidao led Jin Ke and Hunai to the depths of the base through many twists and turns. After passing through the ecological planting area, they entered a place that looked like a warehouse, where two security guards in their 50s were on duty. Zhang Shidao and the two security guards seemed to be familiar with each other. The three of them chatted for a while. Zhang Shidao told the two security guards not to tell outsiders about his outing. He also gave each of the two security guards a pack of cigarettes he rolled himself. Then the security guard stood up and unlocked the iron door of the warehouse to let the two people and the dog in. Looking at the slowly opening iron door, Jin Ke was very excited and a little nervous. This was the first time he had the opportunity to go out and see the outside world after playing this game for more than 2 months. Horror City is known as the most terrifying game in history. I didn't feel any horror when I stayed in the training base, but when I came to the outside world, I should be able to experience the horror of this game, right? Of course, it is said that the outside world is not so scary during the day, but the real horror is at night. Otherwise Jin Ke would not risk losing his job to go out with Zhang Shidao. Oh, I haven't put on my equipment yet. I can't just go out like this, right? After the door opened, Jin Ke found that he was excited for nothing. The big iron door of the warehouse was not the door to the outside world. After entering the warehouse, Zhang Shidao took Jin Ke into one of the small cabins. Opposite the wall of the small cabin was a round cabin door. According to Zhang Shidao, this was the north gate of the training base, located deep in the mountains and forests, and the location was very hidden. The two put on a full set of equipment here. Jin Ke put on the assassin's leather armor like the disciples of the beggar gang, and Zhang Shidao put on a set of alloy plate armor for the warrior profession. Although there were traces of repair and welding on the alloy plate armor, the overall color was silver, which was much more majestic than Jin Ke's beggar outfit. Hunai must have gone out from here more than once. When the two were changing their equipment, she kept barking excitedly in the direction of the hatch. Zhang Shidao yelled at her a few times before she calmed down. After everything was ready, Zhang Shidao went to the hatch and unlocked a heavy hatch after swiping his card, entering his password, and verifying his iris. After entering, there was a corridor about 10 meters long. After passing through the corridor, Zhang Shidao unlocked 3 more heavy hatches in succession before finally connecting to the outside world. When the last hatch opened, Hunai rushed out like an arrow, ran wildly outside for a long circle, and then ran back. There are not many people in the base with my authority. Before leaving, Zhang Shidao showed Jin Ke's ID card, with a very proud expression on his face. Master should be one of the top figures in the base, right? Jin complimented Zhang Shidao. I am a person who focuses on work and does not like to fight for power and profit. They invited me to be the deputy director of the base before, but I refused it outright. Zhang Shidao continued to show off. Master, a hermit, certainly does not like to deal with those secular people. Jin continued to flatter him. That's right, I like to deal with runes, equipment, and various mysterious energies, not people. Zhang Shidao said a few more pretentious words before walking out of the north gate of the base. Jin also hurriedly pulled the car and followed Zhang Shidao. Hunai did not like the dullness in the base. After going out, she seemed very excited. She kept running back and forth and barking, and occasionally urinated near tree roots and stone piers. Like any game, the novice village is the safest. Once you leave the novice village, danger will come at any time. Jin Ke felt that it would be better for him to follow Zhang Shidao closely. The world in the game does not look as gloomy and desolate as the apocalyptic games like Fallout. It was a sunny day in the game. When the character looked up, there were still a few clouds in the sky. The sun was not very dazzling, although the trees in the mountains and forests did not feel full of vitality. They were not dead either, they were more or less green. When I first came to the base, the name was Post-Disaster Survivors. What does this post-disaster mean? Has a great disaster happened in this world? Why can't I feel it? Jin Ke asked Zhang Shidao while observing the outside world. Darkness invades. Every night at 6 o'clock, the sun sets on time, and the sky is covered with black fog. The whole sky and the earth are dead. This black fog makes the animals and corpses in the wild mutate, and plants cannot grow normally. Humans can only hide in shelters, post stations and bases like ours to survive. Is this not a great disaster? Zhang Shidao answered Jin Ke. It is indeed a great disaster. Jin Ke nodded. Outside the north gate is a very rugged mountain road, paved with stone slabs, which looks very old. The widest part is about 3 or 4 meters, and the narrowest part is only about 1 meter. Fortunately, there is no cliff next to it. Although Jin Ke's character is dragging a small cart and walking very slowly, he has not encountered a place where the cart cannot pass. Zhang Shidao, wearing heavy plate armor, does not seem to be strenuous to walk, but it is indeed very cumbersome. When Jin Ke encounters a place that is difficult to pass with a small cart, he just watches from the side and can't help much. The two people and the dog walked around the rugged mountain road for more than 10 minutes, and did not encounter a monster. Everything seemed very peaceful. Despite this, Jin Ke's spirit was always in a state of high alert. In other games, Jin Ke would definitely not be so nervous. If he encountered a monster, he would just go up and chop it or run away. If he died in the wild, the worst case scenario is that he would go back to the birth point to revive and run the corpse. This game is different. He only has one chance. Once he dies, the game character cannot be resurrected. But he had to seize this opportunity today. He couldn't stay in the training base all the time. He had to find various opportunities to make himself stronger. This opportunity to go out was rare for him. He could get closer to Zhang Shidao and learn energy cultivation methods and rune carving skills from him, so he had to take this mission. More than 10 minutes later, just when Jin Ke's tense nerves relaxed a little, Xue'er suddenly barked loudly in a certain direction in the nearby forest. At the same time, a roar came from the forest, followed by footsteps getting closer and closer. Don't panic, it's a low-level black corpse, I can deal with it, Zhang Shidao said to Jin Ke, and then took out a big sword from the sword slot behind the breastplate. As Zhang Shidao's voice fell, a dark-skinned humanoid monster rushed out of the woods, roaring and pouncing on Zhang Shidao. Jin Ke behind him. Chapter 63 Dark Energy. Unlike zombies in other games that are rotten and bloody, the black corpse is also humanoid, but its body is not rotten, and its muscles are very strong. Its skin is dark, and its movements are very agile. It is the lowest level monster in this game. The black corpse probably saw that Zhang Shidao, this iron lump, was not easy to bite, and thought that the beggar costume behind the iron lump was easier to bully, so when running, it was obvious that it wanted to bypass Zhang Shidao and bite Jin Ke. Jin Ke certainly would not let it succeed, and immediately let go of the cart he was pulling and hid behind Zhang Shidao. Xue'er rushed behind the black corpse very flexibly and bit the black corpse's calf. Zhang Shidao majestically took out the big sword behind him, and a whirlwind/skill slashed the black corpse's chest, causing certain damage and knockback effect to the black corpse. With the master here, you don't have to be afraid. Zhang Shidao faced the most basic wild monster in this game, and immediately pretended to be powerful in front of Jin Ke with his sword. Master is awesome. Jin controlled his character and hid behind Zhang Shidao, carefully observing the black corpse, wondering when it would be more appropriate for him to attack. Health detection plugin activated. A prompt appeared on Jin Ke's mobile phone screen. At the same time, a health bar appeared above the black corpse's head. The black corpse's health was now 7796, which seemed to mean that Zhang Shidao's previous attack on the black corpse caused 19 points of damage. 2 horizontal bars, one red and one blue, appeared above Zhang Shidao's head. One was a blue armor energy bar with a value of 190, which meant that his armor protection value reached 19 points. The other was a red health bar with a value of 248, almost 3 times that of Jin Ke. No wonder this old man was not panicked at all when facing the black corpse. His data in all aspects crushed the opponent. Don't monsters in the wild have health values displayed? Jin Ke deliberately asked Zhang Shidao. Before the health detection plugin was turned on, he couldn't see the health of the black corpse, nor could he see how much damage Zhang Shidao had caused to the black corpse. But after the plugin was turned on, everything seemed simpler and clearer. Jin Ke himself had a plugin that could see the health of wild monsters, but he didn't know if others could see it. No, you have to judge based on experience. For a small monster like this, I can just chomp it 5 or 6 times. Zhang Shidao answered Jin Ke while fighting. At the same time, he slashed the black corpse with a sword again. Jin Ke used the plugin to see that he had caused 15 points of damage to the black corpse this time, reducing the black corpse's health to 60-96. The black corpse found an opportunity to scratch Zhang Shidao with its claws, which caused 10 points of damage to Zhang Shidao's total armor energy of 190. It seems the attack power of this black corpse is really not very good. The armor on Jin Ke's body can withstand its 7 attacks. Damn, I'm old. I was hit by this little monster. Zhang Shidao looked embarrassed, and slashed at the black corpse in front of him with another heavy sword. The 14 points of damage reduced the black corpse's health to 48-96. Zhang Shidao's attack frequency was very slow, and the time between 2 attacks was very long. Although he blocked with a long sword, the black corpse found an opportunity to catch him in the middle, and his armor energy was caught by 18 points. The black corpse had a critical hit. While the black corpse's hatred value was transferred to Zhang Shidao and he was attacking Zhang Shidao crazily, Jin quietly went behind the black corpse and stabbed the black corpse's back with the dagger Zhang Shidao lent him before he set out. Critical hit. You caused 5 points of damage to the black corpse. Critical hit. Critical hit. After Jin Ke's 3 attacks, 3 identical prompts popped up on the phone screen, and the black corpse's health dropped to 33-96. Jin Ke was a little surprised that each critical hit caused only 5 points of damage to the black corpse, but after thinking quickly, he soon understood what was going on. This black corpse should be born with some kind of defensive ability, which is twice as high as that of ordinary players. Jin Ke's attack from behind hit a critical hit, but after being halved, only 5 points were left. In this way, Zhang Shidao's attack power is still very strong. The first skill attack has 19 points of damage, which is equivalent to 38 points of damage output of ordinary players. The warrior profession has a high basic damage output because of its high strength attribute, even higher than that of an assassin, but the critical hit rate is extremely low, the movements are slow, and the attack speed is very slow, so the overall output capacity is far inferior to that of the assassin profession. In the same period of time, Jin Ke, a second-rate assassin, caused damage output to the black corpse in unit time that was not even lower than that of the D-level warrior Zhang Shidao. Jin Ke's continuous critical strikes from behind made the black corpse quite angry. Its hatred value instantly transferred to Jin Ke's body, but just when it was about to turn around, Zhang Shidao released another whirlwind slash skill, causing 19 points of damage, reducing the black corpse's health to 14 points, and pulling its hatred back. Jin Ke stabbed the black corpse from behind again, and the critical strike reduced the black corpse's health to only 9 points. Under the continuous attack, a red energy node appeared at the back of the black corpse. Jin Ke, who was quick-eyed and quick-handed, stabbed it without hesitation. Hit. Supercritical strike. You caused 10 points of damage to the black corpse. The 10 points of damage instantly drained the black corpse's last 9 points of health, knocking it to the ground. You gain 5 points of dark energy. A faint black mist escaped from the black corpse's body and entered Jin Ke's body. At the same time, his attribute panel had an additional data. Dark energy points. 125. 5 is the number of dark energy points he just obtained, and 125 should be the upper limit of the dark energy points that can be stored in his body. Jin Ke soon guessed how the upper limit of 125 came from. His basic attribute intelligence is now 12.55, and this upper limit of 125 should be the result of rounding 10 times the intelligence value. You are lucky, you completed the last blow, and the dark energy points were also absorbed by you. Zheng Shidao put away the big sword and said a few words. Only the last blow can get dark energy points? What are dark energy points used for? Jin Ke was killing wild monsters for the first time, and he didn't know much about these things. Dark energy points have many uses. They can repair damaged armor and weapons, can be used to improve skill levels, can be used to refine equipment and release powerful energy-based skill attacks. When several people kill monsters in the wild together, only the person who completes the last kill can obtain the dark energy escaping from the monster's body. Zheng Shidao roughly explained to Jin Ke. When Jin Ke checked the 5 energy points he had just obtained, he also got the official explanation from the system, which was similar to what Zheng Shidao said. It seemed that the dark energy points were a good thing. When players and NPCs formed a group to kill monsters in the wild, the final blow was all based on luck, but Jin Ke had a health detection plugin that could check the health of the monsters at any time. As long as he seized the opportunity to complete the final blow, he would get more dark energy points than other players. Chapter 64 The Real World. Why do corpses absorb dark energy and turn into black corpses? But we can absorb the dark energy from the black corpses without turning into black corpses. Jin Ke thought of another question. He would not get stuck in these ruts when playing games before, but this game is different. The NPCs are so smart that you can just ask them directly if you have any questions. Listen to their explanations. Whether their explanations are accurate and reliable is another matter. Because we have changed jobs, the energy circuits in our bodies can transform these dark energies and turn them into energy in our bodies for us to use. Zheng Shidao said as a matter of course. Then why can't we go out in the wild at night and directly absorb and transform those dark energies? Jin continued to ask. Can you use millions of volts, tens of millions of volts or even higher voltages to power a small light bulb? Zheng Shidao asked Jin Ke a question in return. No. Why? Bang! The light bulb will explode. Isn't it the same when we stay in the wild at night? Master's explanation is really insightful and unique. I, your disciple, have suddenly become enlightened. When Jin got the answer, he certainly did not forget to compliment Zheng Latu a few words to increase the intimacy between him and Zheng Latu. Haha. If you don't understand anything in the future, just ask me. Zheng Shidao also seemed very happy. Master, these black corpses in the wild are all corpses that have been invaded by dark energy, right? Will the corpse of the black corpse we killed absorb dark energy again and become a black corpse at night? Jin Ke had this opportunity to ask a few more questions. Yes. Zheng Shidao nodded. Why doesn't the base send people to burn these corpses? If we kill these black corpses and burn them, wouldn't it be safe outside the base? Jin continued to ask. Burn these corpses? Then how can you newbies grow? Zheng Shidao's answer continued to be insightful. While answering Jin Ke's question, Zheng Shidao took out a rune pen from his body and carved on his damaged chest armor along the direction of the rune strokes. As long as you carry a rune pen with you, you can repair damaged equipment anytime and anywhere. Jin Ke looked at the rune pen and asked Zheng Shidao. Yes, it consumes the dark energy points accumulated previously, and this rune pen is not cheap. It is a 2B level treasure. Zheng Shidao looked very proud. It is indeed a 2B level treasure. It looks like a 2B pencil. Jin complained in his heart. Master, do you know Horror City? Jin took advantage of the gap when Zheng Shidao was repairing his equipment and entered a more difficult questioning mode to test the intelligence of these NPCs. I know. Can you tell me more about it? I don't know it very well, but I heard that the Terror City is the origin of this world. Only those who reach the Terror City can truly understand the truth of the catastrophe and find a way to end it. Where is the Terror City? I don't know about that. It is said that only super powerful people of SSS level can know this information. Master, do you know that the newcomers in our base? Everything here feels like playing a game called Terror City? Jin asked Zheng Shidao indirectly. When asking this question, Jin was a little nervous and expectant. It felt a little absurd to talk about this game with NPCs in a game. However, Jin Ke always felt that this game seemed to be a little different from other games. I know, you guys are indeed a little different from the newcomers in the past. Zhang Shidao didn't seem surprised at Jin's question. What's different? Jin Ke asked quickly. There is no difference in essence, it's just a change of procedure and a different method. Maybe it will be better for you, right? But it's the same for us. Zhang Shidao shook his head. What? Jin Ke didn't quite understand. Zhang Shidao didn't say anything. Master, do you know that we are from another world? Jin Ke thought for a while and asked another question. Yes. Then, Jin Ke heard Zhang Shidao's answer of yes, and for a moment he didn't know what he wanted to ask. I know much more than you think, but you will know it in the future. Zhang Shidao looked at Jin Ke meaningfully, and then continued to repair the damaged equipment. Master, you think the world you live in is the real world, right? Jin continued the previous topic. Since Zhang Shidao knew everything, he would get more words from him. What do you think? Zhang Shidao asked Jin without looking up. Master, when I was playing this game Horror City, I improved the basic attributes of my body in the game, and then my body became stronger and stronger in our world. What's going on? Is there some special connection between the world you are in and the world we're in? Jin simply asked Zhang Shidao all the deepest questions in his heart about this game. I don't know about your world and I don't want to know, and the questions you asked just now involve the secrets of the system. Even if I know the answers, I can't answer you. Forcing answers will cause my soul to collapse and die, or, before I opened my mouth to say the answer, I had already collapsed and died with the intention of answering your questions. So, for the safety of Master, please don't ask me similar questions again. Zhang Shidao raised his head again and answered Jin with a very serious face. The secret of the system can't be answered. Jin was a little stunned in front of the mobile phone screen. He felt vaguely that he seemed to have captured something, but he couldn't figure it out for a while. Try to become stronger, and then all your questions will be truly answered. Okay, the equipment is repaired. Let's continue, Zhang Shidao said as he stood up. The conversation that went beyond the cognition of the game world just now did not seem to have any impact on Zhang Shidao. Okay, let's continue. Jin also ended this unusual conversation and returned to the mood of playing games. Today's outing, Jin originally did not want to encounter too many wild monsters, but now he has changed his mind. With a powerful NPC warrior like Zhang Shidao to attract hatred and carry monsters, as long as he finds the right opportunity to take action, he will be able to safely obtain a lot of dark energy points. So it is better to encounter more wild monsters. The area where the two passed was an area where black corpses appeared frequently. Not long after, Hunayu barked again, and the howling of a black corpse was heard in the distance. It has been detected that there is a balance of dark energy points in the account, and the field detection plugin has been activated. It consumes dark energy points to activate this plugin. One dark energy point can be used for 1 second of detection, and the approximate shape and position of all creatures and monsters within a radius of 50 meters can be detected. A prompt for the plugin to be activated popped up on the mobile phone screen. Chapter 65 Statue. The cheat actually needs to use the dark energy points in the game? Jin was a little stunned. This was somewhat contrary to his common sense in playing games before. Forget it. It's meaningless to think about this kind of problem. Let's spend a dark energy point to try the power of this cheat. Jin entered a dark energy point in the cheat interface that automatically indented at the edge of the screen. Soon, the approximate shape and direction distribution map of creatures and monsters within a radius of 50 meters nearby appeared on the mobile phone screen. In the woods more than 10 meters away from the two people, a black corpse was rushing out of the woods during the 1 second detection time, heading towards the direction where the two people were. There were two more black corpses a few dozen meters away, but there was a deep ravine between them and Jin Ke and Zhang Shidao, so they did not pose a threat to the two for the time being. This outdoor detection cheat is good. It just consumes the dark energy points in the game, which is equivalent to having one more detection skill than other players. Jin controlled the character and followed Zhang Shidao to meet the direction where the black corpse rushed. With the experience from the last time, and with the help of a health detection plugin, Jin Ke easily grabbed the last blow of the black corpse and harvested 5 points of dark energy into his own pocket. The same thing happened to the third black corpse. "You are too lucky, aren't you? You always complete the last blow?" Zhang Shidao looked at Jin Ke with some suspicion. In 3 battles, his chest armor lost more than 50 points of armor energy in total, and he consumed 5 points of dark energy to complete the repair of the armor. But because there was no dark energy income, he was now pure consumption, and he might be a little unhappy. "I'm sorry, master. I don't know what happened. I won't compete with you next time." Jin Ke smiled, pretending to be very honest. "It's okay. I have a lot of reserves. I don't care about these few. You should still take action. This kind of thing depends on luck. Maybe you are really lucky." Zhang Shidao felt a little embarrassed when he heard Jin Ke say this. When the two of them killed the fourth black corpse together, Jin Ke deliberately let Zhang Shidao get the last hit, at least to make Zhang Shidao's income and expenditure balanced. It would be unreasonable to not let him get it all the time. With the health detection plug-in, Jin Ke can completely control the probability of the two getting the last hit. As long as Zhang Shidao has a certain chance to get the last hit, it will not cause Zhang Shidao's suspicion and complaints, and it can also maximize Jin Ke's profit. After killing more than a dozen black corpses, the mountain road ahead became quiet again. Zhang Shidao breathed a sigh of relief. It seemed that he didn't want to get too entangled with these very low-level black corpses. Jin Ke was a little disappointed. It was a good opportunity to follow Zhang Shidao today. These dozen black corpses allowed him to collect more than 50 points of dark energy. He wanted to collect more. Without Zhang Shidao, a powerful warrior, to pull hatred in front, he would not be so efficient in killing black corpses alone, and the character would be in danger of life at any time in the wild. Finally, the two people and the dog came to the end of this journey, a large temple deep in the forest. It was a temple that had been in disrepair for a long time. It had many buildings and covered a large area. After entering the temple, Jin Ke found that the sculptures enshrined inside were not of bodhisattvas or arhats, but some tall and strange creatures that looked like aliens. The temple was in a very bad state, and most of the sculptures were destroyed. What is enshrined in the temple? Shouldn't a Buddhist temple enshrine bodhisattvas and arhats? Jin Ke had a question, so he naturally asked Zhang Shidao. It is said that during the small disaster before the great disaster, the local residents offered things to ward off evil and avoid disasters. Zhang Shidao answered Jin Ke. How long has the great disaster happened? Jin Ke thought of an important question. About 300 years. 300 years? Then Master was born after the great disaster? Yes. Where are Master's parents, brothers and sisters? All dead. Zhang Shidao was silent for a while before answering Jin Ke. Master, you never married or had children? Jin Ke thought for a moment and asked Zhang Shidao again. Yes, but they all died. Oh. Jin Ke realized that he had asked some questions that he shouldn't have asked. However, Zhang Shidao didn't look angry or sad. He led Hunaiyu and continued to walk deeper into the temple. Jin Ke followed closely behind them with a cart. For some reason, there was not a single black corpse in the temple, which made Jin Ke a little disappointed. It seemed that there would be no more dark energy points to harvest today. After entering, Jin Ke found that the temple occupied an unusually large area. The layout was generally composed of several temples forming a courtyard. Jin Ke followed Zhang Shidao through at least 7 or 8 courtyards before Zhang Shidao stopped in a very remote courtyard. The statue that Zhang Shidao was going to move was in the corner of the wall of this very remote courtyard. Most of it was buried in the soil, and the exposed part was covered with thick dust and fallen leaves. If you didn't look carefully, you wouldn't notice the statue at all. After cleaning up the floating dust, fallen leaves and some loose soil beside the statue, Jin Ke found that the statue was carved into a very strange creature. It was still in human form, but its face was very ferocious. Although it had a nose, eyes and mouth, it looked like the head of an insect. There were also some protruding joints on its body, which looked quite creepy. What's so special about this statue? Why did the master want to move it back for research? Jin Ke asked Zhang Shidao. I'll tell you after I've studied it clearly. Anyway, It's useful. You'll get a share of it. Don't be stunned. Come with me to get it out and put it in the cart. Zhang Shidao didn't seem to want to answer this question. He took off his plate armor and threw it aside. He took the small iron shovel clamps on the side of Jin's cart and began to dig the deeper part of the statue. Zhang Shidao's strength attribute was very high, and he quickly dug a big pit around the legs of the statue. The cart was equipped with only one iron shovel, and Jin couldn't help much. He just controlled the character to occasionally help dig the loosened soil beside the statue. The statue is not very heavy, about the weight of a normal man, about 140–150 kilograms. The statue is obviously not made of stone, and it seems to be a little soft to the touch. It is not clear what material it is made of. It may be some kind of biochemical material. After Jin controlled the character to touch the statue, a few lines of game text popped up. After returning to the base, you must not mention this statue to anyone, understand? Otherwise, I will immediately terminate our master-disciple relationship and will not teach you anything anymore. Zhang Shidao wrapped the statue with the prepared bedsheet, and then said a few words to Jin in a serious tone. Chapter 66, Run Away. If I mention this statue or what happened today to anyone, let me be swallowed by the darkness of the wild at night. Jin Ke swore an oath according to the habit of the base personnel. His purpose of helping Zhang Shidao was to learn energy cultivation and rune carving from him, and he would definitely not ask about other things that he shouldn't ask about. I can see that you are a wise man, so I am willing to take you with me. I hope you won't let me down. Zhang Shidao added a few words. No, master. After Zhang Shidao completely took out the statue, he and Jin put it into the cart together. After finishing the work, Zhang Shidao put his metal plate armor back on. After a short rest, the two of them and the dog started their return journey. When they came here, the cart was empty, and the mountain road was much easier to walk on. But when they went back, there was a statue weighing more than 100 pounds on the cart, which made it much more difficult to push the cart. The rugged and undulating mountain road made the cart seem particularly heavy when going uphill, and it became very difficult to control when going downhill. Pushing a cart on a mountain road is like a small game. You have to control the direction keys at all times. Occasionally, when passing a more dangerous section of the road, there will be a QTE plot that requires Jin to operate in time. When pushing the cart, you cannot activate the plug-in. Everything depends on Jin's manual operation. He has to concentrate on the game to avoid accidentally pushing the cart into the deep pit beside the mountain road. Jin is a player who is very talented in game operation. This kind of small game is not too difficult for him. As long as he concentrates, he will not make mistakes. When they came here, the two of them almost cleaned up the black corpses on the side of the mountain road, so the way back seemed very peaceful. Jin was highly focused when pulling the cart on the rugged mountain road. At this time, he didn't want to encounter any monsters or dark energy points anymore. He first completed this mission safely and let Zhang Shidao teach him rune carving. The opportunity to come out should be more and more in the future, and there is no rush to kill wild monsters and accumulate dark energy points. When the two were still more than 10 minutes away from the north gate of the training base, heavy footsteps suddenly came from a distance, and Hunaiu, who was led by Zhang Shidao, also barked loudly in a certain direction. Oh no, it's a mutant black corpse. Give up the mission immediately. Escape back to the base. Zhang Shidao's face changed drastically. After shouting to Jin, he hurriedly took off and discarded most of his plate armor equipment, leaving only the breastplate on his body, and then ran towards the north gate of the mountain behind the base. Although he had never seen how powerful the mutant black corpse was, seeing Zhang Shidao's reaction at this time and hearing the extremely heavy footsteps in the distance, Jin certainly understood that this thing was definitely not easy to mess with. He quickly pushed the cart into the nearby forest and followed Zhang Shidao to flee towards the north gate of the base. When Jin was running wildly, an ordinary black corpse suddenly jumped out from the side of the road, blocked Jin's way, and grabbed Jin head-on with a pair of claws. Oh my god! Under normal circumstances, Jin would not panic too much when facing an ordinary black corpse, and it would not be difficult to kill the opponent alone. But now he is running for his life. If he is dragged and caught by the mutant black corpse, he will be dead. The dagger in Jin Ke's hand instinctively stabbed at the black corpse's face. In a hurry, he stabbed the black corpse's face several times, but the damage of his frontal attack was very low, and only stabbed less than 10 points of the black corpse's health. The black corpse's claws forcibly grabbed Jin Ke's body, and a mouthful of sharp teeth also bit towards Jin Ke, instantly biting off more than 20 points of Jin Ke's armor energy. In a hurry, Jin Ke was about to use the death dance to force his way around the back of the black corpse to attack. Whirlwind slash. Zhang Shidao, who was escaping in front, saw Jin Ke trapped and rushed back. He slashed the back of the black corpse with a heavy sword. The black corpse was dizzy and let go of Jin Ke, and then rushed towards Zhang Shidao, leaving his back to Jin Ke. The heavy footsteps sounded again. It was obvious that the mutant black corpse had already caught up to the vicinity. Go to hell. Die 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 die. Jin Ke didn't have time to think about it. He yelled and manipulated the character to frantically stab the black corpse's back with the dagger in his hand. He just wanted to kill the black corpse as soon as possible and escape back to the base with Zhang Shidao to avoid the mutant black corpse's attack. At the moment when Jin Ke's attack suddenly landed on the back of the black corpse, the screen flashed white and a line of prompts appeared. You awakened a new assassin skill in the intense battle. Death Arc. Death Arc. Active skill. After activation, you can cause 2 consecutive attacks to the target in a very short time, causing double damage. Each skill level increases 5% damage output. Cooldown time, 4 seconds. Energy consumption, 1 point. An icon of a new skill appeared on the edge of the screen, and just at this time, an energy node flashed on the back of the black corpse. Jin Ke didn't care to think too much, and quickly clicked on the new skill to attack the energy node of the black corpse. Super energy critical hit. You caused 20 points of damage to the target. The black corpse was about to attack Zhang Shidao, but the next moment, a red light flashed, and its remaining nearly 20 points of health were instantly drained, and its body fell softly to the ground. The boy's attack is very fierce. Run! Zhang Shidao looked at Jin Ke in surprise, and then continued to flee to the north gate of the back mountain. Hunai disappeared, and no one knew where she fled. Jin Ke had awakened a new skill in the extremely tense battle just now, but he had no time to be happy now. He hurriedly followed Zhang Shidao and continued to run madly towards the back mountain gate. The heavy footsteps were chasing relentlessly, and it was obvious that the mutant black corpse was getting closer and closer. Just a few minutes away from the north gate of the base, Zhang Shidao suddenly screamed and fell on the mountain road in front, holding his leg. Jin Ke stopped to check and found that one of Zhang Shidao's calves was caught by a large metal hunting trap. There was blood all over his legs and hands, and his trouser legs were stained red with blood, and blood was flowing all over the ground. The metal hunting trap was locked with a metal chain, and the other end was fixed to an iron stake. Most of the iron stake was buried underground, and it was extremely solid. It seemed to be used to deal with large animals, or large monsters. When the mutant black corpse appeared, Zhang Shidao took off all his equipment except the breastplate in order to escape quickly. His legs lost the protection of the energy protection field and he stepped on a huge trap. He was really unlucky. My leg bone is broken. It hurts so much. The mutant black corpse is coming soon. I'm dead. I can't run away. Don't worry about me. Run away. Zhang Shidao's face was pale and he shouted to Jin Ke in despair. Chapter 67. Thick Mist. Thanks to Professor Qin from Tsinghua University for giving me 50,000 starting coins. Thanks to Professor Qin from Tsinghua University for giving me the second leader of this book. Jin Ke immediately clicked on the field detection plugin and looked at how far the mutant black corpse was from the two of them. Looking at the detection results on the mobile phone screen, Jin Ke showed a strange expression. In the direction where the heavy footsteps came from, more than 30 meters away, the red dots representing monsters were not displayed, but 2 green dots. The text labels next to them were not mutant black corpses, but NPC Liu Junming and Hunai. The heavy footsteps came from Liu Junming. There were no other monsters within a range of 50 meters. This detection map is like a satellite photo. Jin can also magnify the image to a certain extent by pulling the detection map. He zoomed in and observed the place where Liu Junming and Hunai were. Sure enough, there was a normal human being there, holding two big hammers in his hands, hammering the ground as he walked. The so-called heavy footsteps of the mutant black corpse were made by him. Hunai-u was jumping around Liu Junming, looking very happy. "What is Liu Junming doing? Why don't you leave? It will be over when the mutant black corpse comes. Master is dead anyway. Don't die here in vain." Zhang Shidao shouted at Jin Ke, and then continued to scream. Jin Ke suddenly remembered the relationship between Zhang Shidao and Liu Junming. He tried to detect it again with the field detection plug-in. As a result, he found that Liu Junming and Hunai-u, who were walking while hammering the ground with two big hammers, were a few meters closer to him and Zhang Shidao. At a certain moment, Jin Ke seemed to understand. Could it be that Zhang Shidao deliberately let Liu Junming help him perform this sad drama in order to test the loyalty of his apprentice? The metal hunting trap did not hurt Zhang Shidao's leg at all. He just used artificial blood or some red liquid to disguise the injury scene. It is impossible for so much blood to flow on the ground if the leg was clamped, right? And the color of this blood is too red. By the way, Hunai-u's previous behavior was also a bit strange. After hearing the heavy footsteps, it did not seem particularly panicked, but just kept barking in the direction of the sound. And it did not intend to escape. Zhang Shidao forced it to escape. Needless to say, Zhang Shidao must want to use this method to test his new apprentice. This is a good opportunity to increase intimacy. I have no relatives in this world, and Master is like my relatives, and he is my only relative. How can I abandon Master? Even if I die, I want to die with Master, Jin Ke said in a tone of grief and indignation, and then controlled the character to attack the metal clamps and iron stakes on the ground. No, once the mutant black corpse comes, Master will definitely die. It's useless for you to stay here. It's meaningless to die in vain. Don't worry about Master. Run away. Zhang Shidao pushed Jin Ke. No, Master, I won't leave. Once a teacher, always a father. Respecting teachers is a traditional virtue of the Chinese nation. If this mutant black corpse wants to hurt the Master, it must first step over my body. Jin Ke was in a state of acting, and said to Zhang Shidao solemnly. At this moment, he suddenly felt that it was a waste of talent if he didn't go to act. Silly boy, go away. Master is in trouble, and I leave Master alone and run away. How can I live in the world in the future? Go away. You can't save me. I won't go. I must save Master. Don't be stupid. Go away. No. At worst, we will die together. No. Go away. I won't go. Go. No. Don't. The Master and apprentice were performing a very bloody romance drama in the wild. At a certain moment when he was acting this bloody romance drama with Zhang Shidao, Jin Ke suddenly thought of something. Did old man Zhang know that he was playing this game on his mobile phone? If he knew, would his bitter drama be useful? Didn't old man Zhang know that players like Jin Ke only treated them as NPCs and couldn't possibly have real feelings for them? Since Zhang Shidao and Liu Junming had carefully set up a trap to test a player like him, it meant that they didn't know that Jin Ke was a player, nor did they know that Jin Ke only treated them as NPCs in the game, because, if they knew the truth, they would know that this kind of test of players by NPCs was meaningless. But when Jin Ke asked Zhang Shidao about this matter before, Zhang Shidao had an expression of "I know everything." His words seemed to reveal that you newcomers were different from the previous newcomers, and the procedures were a little different. So, in the eyes of these NPCs, what exactly are these newcomers? Moreover, Zhang Shidao had no interest in the real world where Jin Ke was, and he even said that he didn't want to understand it at all. Why is this so? There must be a big problem here. Is it because of the system? Force these NPCs to think that the world they are in is the real world, and implant some deceptive things in their memories? Let them think that the truth they know is the real one, but in fact they are just living in a huge lie? Even if the players want to tell them the truth, they don't believe it at all? Or are they automatically blocked by the system? The fog is thick. Ah, break it open. Zhang Shidao shouted. His hands had been shaking the huge metal clamp on his leg. At a certain moment, he didn't know what happened. The metal clamp suddenly loosened and fell off Zhang Shidao's leg. The heavy footsteps of the mutated black corpse are getting closer and closer. Master, let's go back quickly. Jin came back to his senses and said to Zhang Shidao, no matter what the truth of the matter is, since his bloody romance drama has begun, He must play it to the end. No, my leg bone is broken. I'm afraid I can't go back to the base. You should leave quickly. It will be too late if you don't leave. Zhang Shidao tried to stand up while covering his blood-stained pants, but he sat back on the ground. I'll carry master on my back. Jin Ke said nothing, approached Zhang Shidao, and then made a carrying gesture, carrying Zhang Shidao on his back. Zhang Shidao and his heavy breastplate weighed about 200 kilograms. It was difficult to take off the plate-type breastplate after putting it on, and there was no time to take it off now to escape. Jin Ke's character could barely carry him, but walked very slowly. Don't worry about me, I can't walk fast with you on my back. Once the mutant black corpse comes, none of us will survive. Zhang Shidao lay on Jin Ke's body and continued to talk to him. Even if I have to crawl back, I will never give up. I must bring master back. Jin controlled his character and moved towards the back door of the base step by step with great difficulty. The mutated black corpse kept making very heavy footsteps behind him, but never caught up. Jin walked towards the back door of the base step by step without fear and with great determination, until he entered the back mountain gate. The mutated black corpse did not catch up. After finally returning to the base safely with Zhang Shidao on his back, Jin Ke's character fell to the ground and passed out due to severe exhaustion. Chapter 68 Visit. Outside the medical cabin, there's nothing wrong with his body. He probably fainted because he was too tired and frightened. He'll be fine after a rest. Liu Junming gave the test results to Zhang Shidao. Alas, this kid is so loyal. When I saw him faint after entering the back mountain gate, I burst into tears. Zhang Shidao said to Liu Junming, yes, in that situation, anyone else would have abandoned you. I didn't expect this kid to be so loyal. You're really lucky to have a good disciple. He really treats you like a family member. It's a pity that he has multiple souls. Without the soul dividing agent, he probably won't be able to make any achievements in martial arts in the future. Liu Junming was also very emotional. Don't remind me again and again about the soul dividing agent. He treats me as a family member, and I will treat him as a family member. I will definitely do my best to help him. Is the method you mentioned of using alien insects to make soul-gathering agents reliable? Zhang Shidao asked Liu Junming. I have spent my whole life studying dual souls and looking for ways to strengthen soul power. Do you think it is reliable? If I had your attainments and runes, I would have made the soul-splitting agent myself a long time ago. If you are worried that the soul-splitting agent is unreliable, you can try it on me first, and then give it to Zhao after confirming that it is safe and effective. Liu Junming proposed to Zhang Shidao. Okay, you try it first then. Zhang Shidao nodded. Care. Are you awake? Jin Ke's character was unconscious for more than 2 hours. When he woke up, he saw Zhang Shidao's face, which was usually very ferocious but very kind at this time. The wall clock on Zhang Shidao's dormitory showed that it was already past 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Master, are you okay? I just had a nightmare. I dreamed that you were eaten by a mutant black corpse. I cried and looked for you everywhere. Jin Ke certainly did not forget the play he had to play. Have you forgotten? You carried Master into the mountain gate. Fortunately, Master would have died outside this time. Zhang Shidao reached out and touched Jin Ke's face. I don't remember anything. I just kept walking and walking, and then I came to a very dark place. Jin continued to act. Thank you for your hard work. Zhang Shidao burst into tears. Seeing Zhang Shidao's performance, Jin was sure that these NPCs did not know their player identities for some reason, so they were moved by his sad drama. There are so many players in the game, there will always be someone trying to tell these NPCs the truth, right? But if they still don't know, it should be that the system has used some method to force them to get information about this aspect. Jin didn't want to bother to analyze the deeper reasons for the time being. Anyway, this result is exactly what he needs. After passing the test specially set by Zhang Shidao this time, Zhang Shidao should devote all his life to teaching him what he has learned. Master, how is your leg injury? Jin asked Zhang Shidao again. After I came back, I went to the medical cabin of the base. My leg bone was only cracked but not broken. It healed quickly after being soaked in energy liquid. Don't worry about me. Zhang Shidao comforted Jin Ke. What about the statue? The task that Master gave me has not been completed yet. Jin asked Zhang Shidao again. If the statue was not brought back, the task could not be completed. If the task was not completed, according to the agreement of the system task, wouldn't Zhang Shidao be unable to formally teach him the skill of rune carving? When you feel better tomorrow, we will go out and drag the statue back. It shouldn't be a big problem. Zhang Shidao shook his head. Go out again? What if the mutant black corpse is still nearby? Jin pretended to be a little scared. The mutant black corpse will not stay in the same place for too long. Generally, it will run away after a few hours, not to mention that a day has passed. Zhang Shidao didn't look worried at all. Of course, the mutant black corpse was originally Liu Junming in disguise. What was there to worry about? What if it doesn't leave? Jin continued to be worried. He had to act this out to the end. Only by showing that he was particularly afraid of the mutant black corpse could he highlight how brave he was at the moment when Zhang Shidao's life and death were at stake, how much he cared about his family relationship with him, and how much he refused to give up on his master. Don't worry, according to the habits of the mutant black corpse, it would take a few hours to leave, let alone a whole day. In addition, with Hunaiu here, she will give an early warning as long as the mutant black corpse is nearby, so there is no need to worry at all. Zhang Shidao looked confident. After leaving the old staff dormitory where Zhang Shidao was, Jin Ke passed the passage where the breeding area of the base was on his way to the cafeteria to make up for lunch. On weekdays, Jin Ke always AFK training or professional training in the assassin training area. He has been in the game for more than 2 months and has not explored many areas of a training base. This happened to pass by the breeding area of the base, so he went in to take a look. It wouldn't take much time anyway. The breeding area of the base is much larger than the equipment department. The equipment department only has a few warehouses, but as soon as you enter the breeding area, you will see a long corridor that stretches as far as the eye can see, and there are separate corridors on both sides of the corridor. The text description of the game indicates that after entering the breeding area, there is a strong smell of animal feces everywhere. Fortunately, Jin can't smell it. Isn't this our colleague from the villa, come to visit the breeding area? A man in work clothes happened to pass by and greeted Jin Ke after seeing him. Jin Ke looked at the man's face and felt that he looked familiar. He clicked to check his name tag. The name was written as Luo Ye. Jin Ke soon remembered that this man asked a lot of questions during the last meeting and introduced himself as a civil servant. Hello. Jin greeted Luo Ye politely. Have you been here before? Jin, working the equipment department. Luo Ye also looked at Jin's name tag. No, it's my first time here. I just wanted to come in and take a look when I passed by. Then I'll take you to visit. Luo Ye invited Jin enthusiastically. Luo Ye wanted to develop in the game, so it was necessary to have a good relationship with his colleagues, especially since Jin was a colleague in the equipment department. Okay, Luo Ye was going to feed the chickens, so the first stop he took Jin to visit was naturally the chicken breeding area. Here Jin met another acquaintance, the female player Liu Zhu in the villa. She also worked in the breeding area and was feeding the chickens here. Hey, isn't this the little dad? Our busy man. How come you have time to come here for inspection today? Liu Zhu greeted Jin Ke. The employees in the villa basically visited each other in the base, but Jin Ke had never been to the breeding area, so she felt a little strange. I brought him here to visit the magical chickens you raised, Luo Ye said to Liu Zhu. At this time, Jin Ke's character was standing there in a daze, not moving at all. Just as he entered the room of the chicken breeding area, Jin was shocked by what he saw on his mobile phone screen. Is that a chicken behind the tempered glass? Judging from their appearance, they should be, but they are taller than humans. Ha 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 ha. You've never seen such a big chicken, right? Yuzu was also shocked when she saw these chickens for the first time, so she could guess how Jin felt at this moment. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We are waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 69, Power Serum. How can there be such a big chicken? Wouldn't the eggs it lay be bigger than dinosaur eggs? Jin Ke asked Liu. He remembered that the hard-boiled eggs in the cafeteria were very small. It has been injected. This is a laying hen. Although it is big, the eggs it lays are still the same size as ordinary chickens. It has more than 100 ovaries in its body. After the injection, it can lay dozens of eggs a day. Liu answered Jin Ke's question, laying dozens of eggs a day. Jin Ke felt a little subversive, but fortunately this was just a game. At most, it laid more than 100 eggs a day. This is a meritorious chicken. Maybe you have eaten its eggs. Liu laughed. It is indeed very meritorious. Jin Ke agreed with this. The muscles on his character should be partly due to this chicken. In addition to being very good at laying eggs, it is also very good at growing meat. The feathers on its body cover the meat. I will take you to see the broilers being slaughtered and plucked to be sent to the canteen. After seeing this, you will definitely never be able to eat the chicken in the canteen again. Of course, if it is not in the game. Luo took over and continued to introduce it to Jin Ke. After saying goodbye to Liu, Luo took Jin Ke to walk around the breeding area. In addition to the huge chickens, Jin Ke also saw huge ducks, pigs, sheep, cows, rabbits and so on. When he saw the pigs, Jin Ke almost understood what Luo had said before. The tumor is what he said. A pig looks like an elephant, but it is more than that. In order to increase production, the staff injected the pigs with various drugs, which made them full of meat and almost collapsed on the ground. There were even several large tumors on the surface of their bodies, which looked very disgusting. The delicacies in the base canteen are taken from them. If it wasn't food in the game, Jin Ke would definitely not be able to swallow food made from its meat if he saw it in the real world. How much food do animals of this size need to eat in a day? Can the food grown in the ecological zone satisfy their appetite? Jin Ke asked Luo a question. You probably haven't been to the mutant plant area in the ecological park yet, right? Luo asked Jin Ke in return. I haven't been there. The ecological park is divided into normal crop and vegetable areas, but those normal crops and vegetables are basically only supplied to the senior management of the base. We eat mutant crops and vegetables. There is a part of the mutant plant area and a breeding area in the ecological park that are adjacent to each other. There is a fixed time every day to graze the animals here to the other side for a snack. The appetite of these animals can eat all the plants there, but the next day all the plants will fill the entire space again. The plants that have been injected grow so abnormally that they are much more ferocious than the animals here. I heard from the experts at the ecological park that as long as the roots of these plants are deep enough, they can absorb the diluted dark energy underground. Combined with their special DNA recombination injections and artificial suns, they become an inexhaustible raw material for animal feed. Luo looked very impressed. Luo was shocked several times when he first entered the breeding area. Of course, he was only shocked by the creativity of the game maker. After all, they are things in the game. If these things appear in the real world, it will not be just as simple as shocking. In order to prove that what he said was true, Luo took Jin Ke to visit the mutant plant area. It was not yet time for the animals to have a snack. In a huge space, some unknown vines were growing wildly at a speed visible to the naked eye. Jin Ke noticed that there was nothing on a flat ground, but in just half a minute, it was covered with vines and fleshy leaves of the vines. In the cabin next door, some bens were growing. A ben pod was 2 or 3 meters long and thicker than a person's waist. Walking forwards for more than 100 meters, there was another large hall. Jin Ke recognized the vegetables growing in it. It was cabbage. However, one cabbage was as big as a room, and several of them grew together, which always gave people a weird feeling. Lettuce was planted next to the cabbage room. One seedling grew dozens of lettuces. The middle one was more than 10 meters high and hit the ceiling. 2 workers were sawing off one of the side stems with an electric saw. After sawing it down, they were loaded into a cart and sent to the food processing factory next to the cafeteria for further processing. These things are obviously masterpieces of artificial technology. Jin Ke has not seen such super abnormal plants in the wild, which means that even if plants without DNA recombination injections can absorb the diluted dark energy underground, They will not grow so abnormally. I wonder what this dark energy set by the game system of Horror City is? It seems that everything in this world is related to it. Have you awakened any new life skills in the equipment department? Luo Chun asked Jin casually. No. Have you awakened new life skills? Jin shook his head and asked Luo Chun in return. Jin was preparing to learn rune carving skills from Zhang Shidao in the equipment department. From Luo Chun's tone, life skills can be awakened by themselves. I came to work in the breeding area. I originally wanted to awaken something like animal taming so that I could tame a pet for fun. Unexpectedly, when I was concentrating on preparing medicine for these animals, I awakened the skill of pharmacy. This skill is very basic at present. I can only prepare a very simple medicine for the time being. Powerful serum, Luo Chun said and gave a needle to Jin. Powerful serum? After using this needle on the character's strength can be temporarily increased by 1, which lasts for 10 seconds. After 10 seconds, the strength decreases by 1, which lasts for half a minute. Jin clicked to view the properties of the powerful serum. This property is really a bit tasteless. Not bad. Pharmacy is a very good skill, Jin praised, and then returned the needle to Luo Chun. However, he felt that Luo Chun's skill should not have been awakened by himself. Maybe Luo Chun obtained it after completing some hidden NPC intimacy task. This injection is for you. When my skill level is higher in the future, you can buy various injections from me if you need them. I'll give you a discount. Luo Chun did not take back his powerful serum. Okay, thank you. Jin estimated that this injection was just Luo Chun's trial product. If the finished product has such poor properties, it is estimated that none of it can be sold. Brother Jin, give me some discounts when you buy equipment and repair equipment in the future. Luo Chun looked very happy. No problem, but I haven't learned how to repair equipment yet. The supervisor said it will take at least 3 months to learn it, but I may not be able to learn it and be kicked out. Chapter 70. An empty shell without a soul. Don't worry, Brother Jin is so smart, he will definitely learn it. This game is the kind that needs to be played slowly. We live in the same villa, which is also a kind of fate. In the future, we can help each other when there is something, so that we can grow faster. Luo Chun stated his purpose of getting to know Jin. As a former civil servant, Luo Chun knows the importance of interpersonal network. If he wants to get along well in the training base and get promoted in the studio as soon as possible, it will definitely not hurt to know a few acquaintances in each department of the base. The training base is very large, and there are many people in other departments. It is easy to get to know a few acquaintances, but the equipment department is different. Apart from the Rune Master Zheng, who has a very strange personality and is very difficult to approach, there is only Jin Ke as an apprentice. Therefore, if you want to have a good relationship with the equipment department, you can only set your sights on Jin Ke. Luo Chun just went to give the animals an injection and was about to return to his office. He happened to meet Jin Ke wandering around the breeding area curiously. Luo Chun thought this was a good opportunity to get to know the only newcomer in the equipment department. Luo Chun originally thought that Jin Ke was difficult to approach and deal with, but after talking to him, he felt that he was not what he imagined. Do you have a daughter? Luo Chun continued to find topics to talk to Jin Ke on the way he sent him out. Yeah, it's not easy to take care of a child. My son will be 6 years old next month. He jumps up and down like a monkey every day. He is a naughty child. There is no point in disciplining him, but I think that's the nature of children. Sometimes they need to be released, as long as they don't affect others. Luo Chun is very good at finding topics to chat. Since Jin Ke has a child, let's talk about the topic of children. Yeah, Jin Ke still only responded. Jin Ke is not very good at speaking. Of course, this is limited to his communication with other players. He talks a lot when communicating with NPCs, and there is no obstacle in this regard at all. My son's birthday is in a month. He has taken a fancy to a Transformers toy that costs more than 3,000 yuan. I plan to buy it for him next month. Our job is really unique. We can earn hundreds of yuan by playing games for a day. This money comes easily, so we are willing to spend it. Luo Chun didn't seem to care about Jin's lack of a response, and just continued to talk to himself. Yes, Jin continued to perfunctorily. Men, you have to work hard for your career and take care of your family. Life is very tiring. But when I think of my family, I feel that no matter how tired I am, it's worth it. Luo Chun continued to talk. Yeah, I used to be a civil servant. 2 years ago, on my birthday, my wife bought me a 15,000 yuan Okini watch. This is normal, right? At that time, I posted a photo on Weibo to express my gratitude to her. This year, I am going to be promoted to section chief. My competitor hired a network of trolls to dig up the Weibo post I posted, saying that I couldn't afford such an expensive watch with my salary, and slandered me for taking bribes. The superiors actually believed this unfounded thing. They suspended me from my job and investigated me because I shouldn't show off my wealth on Weibo. The promotion to section chief was also suppressed. Don't you think it's ridiculous? A 15,000 yuan watch is also called showing off wealth. Do you believe it? Is it wrong that my wife and I are very affectionate? Luo Chun talked more and more. Ridiculous. Jin had to agree again. The most important reason why he didn't want to make friends was that he didn't like chatting, especially this kind of meaningless chat. Fortunately, the road to the breeding area was not far away, and it seemed that he would not have to listen to Luo Chun's nagging soon. A blessing in disguise? Humphrey, after leaving there, I didn't expect to find my current job, and my salary has doubled. Director Chen said that after we become regular employees, we will have 5 social insurances and 1 housing fund, which is not necessarily worse than the original civil servants. As long as we work hard and get promoted to director in the studio, our salary can be doubled. The most important point is fairness. Although each player has different talents, it is at least much fairer than where I used to be. You don't have to deal with so many interpersonal relationships. You don't have to look at the boss's face and figure out the boss's thoughts every day. As long as you work hard, you will be promoted one day. I have fallen in love with this job now, except that I am embarrassed to tell my wife what I am doing. There is nothing else. Luo Chun couldn't stop talking after he started. Well, what you said makes sense. Did you waste a lot of work time by coming here to visit today? Let's talk another day. Jin finally walked out of the breeding area and said goodbye to Luo Chun. You're so polite. It's been a pleasure chatting with you. It seems like we're getting along well. Let's go out for a drink together sometime. Luo Chun waved to Jin Ke and made a goodbye gesture while controlling his character. Okay. Jin Ke also waved his hand while controlling his character, and then quickly fled the breeding area. After eating in the cafeteria, Jin Ke did not go to the equipment department to work. Zhang Shidao said that he had worked hard and asked him to rest more today. So Jin went directly to the attribute training area to train his basic attributes. In the evening, it was assassin training as usual. No one challenged Jin's position as the top player. Coach Yuan Kaiang, as usual, gave Jin half an hour of individual coaching, which made Jin's weapon proficiency and basic steps improve faster than other new students. 7 p.m. Ecological Park Planting Area. Brother Luo Jing, I just had dinner and came to see you again. Yu Gang stood beside NPC Luo Jing and talked to him. NPC Luo Jing ignored Yu Gang, just quietly dug holes, filled manure, and planted vegetables. In the ecological park, NPC worker Luo Jing was only responsible for planting 2 kinds of vegetables. One was cabbage and the other was red cabbage. NPC Luo Jing planted pure natural vegetables that had never been injected, and they were also special vegetables for the leadership of the base. In more than a month, NPC Luo Jing had planted dozens of acres of vegetable fields, and a large area nearby was his masterpiece. I didn't expect that something would happen as soon as you left the studio. I know that although you are lazy and stay at home, you are still kind-hearted. You can't be a murderer. You must have been wronged. Yu Gang continued to speak. NPC Luo Jing remained silent. I heard that you were locked up in a mental hospital. I found someone I knew to see you, but you didn't recognize me anymore. I feel that person is no longer you. He is like an empty shell without a soul. Are you crying? Do you understand what I said? When Yu Gang said this, He was surprised to find that there seemed to be a drop of water on Luo Jing's cheek under the corner of his eye. "Go away, don't disturb my work, that's sweat." Luo Jing wiped his face with his hands covered in dust, smearing himself into a big clown face. "Ah," Yu Gang sighed deeply. Just as Yu Gang was about to end his chat with his former partner Luo Jing today, he suddenly felt that something was wrong with the nearby vegetable plots. Not only the nearby vegetable plots, but also the dozens of acres of vegetable plots planted by Luo Jing were a little bit wrong. Chapter 71 Panorama. Yu Gang looked around, trying to find a high ground, but unfortunately, the whole area was an endless vegetable field, except for the support pillars that were spaced more than 10 meters apart in the open space between the vegetable fields. The base named these support pillars supporting pillars. Yu Gang climbed up one of them, but unfortunately he could only climb to a base several meters high. Above that was a bare alloy pillar, with no place to put his strength. After Yu Gang climbed up the base, he directed the character's field of view to the vegetable field below and took a multi-angle screenshot. Then he went to another support pillar and climbed up the base again, and also directed the character's field of view to the vegetable field below and took a multi-directional screenshot. After repeating this for more than a dozen times and making sure that he had taken screenshots of all of Luo Jing's planting areas, Yu Gang left the ecological planting area, controlled his character to go back to the dormitory to sleep and log off, then took his phone and left the villa. Yu Gang returned to his home, ignored his parents' questions about his work, went straight to his bedroom and closed the bedroom door. Yu Gang opened the old computer on the table and copied all the screenshots from his mobile phone to the computer. Having learned mapping in college, he used the mapping software to perform keystone correction on these screenshots, and then cut and spliced them one by one manually. Finally, a panoramic view of the planting area of NPC Luo Jing from above appeared in Yu Gang's computer. Seeing this panoramic view in the computer, Yu Gang trembled all over and showed an extremely terrified expression. The next day, after having breakfast at the base, around 10 o'clock in the morning, Jin Ke followed Zhang Shidao and Hunaiyu and quietly slipped out of the north gate of the base again, and carefully came to the place where the cart was parked yesterday. The cart and the statue were still in the same place. After Zhang Shidao helped Jin Ke to straighten the cart, Jin Ke pushed the cart again and pushed the statue towards the north gate of the back mountain of the base. There were no accidents on the way back, and the statue was safely transported back to the base. After returning to the base, Zhang Shidao explored the way ahead. When he confirmed that there were no patrolling security guards passing by, he waved to Jin Ke to quickly pass through that corridor. It felt like a game of hide-and-seek. In the end, the statue was transported to the innermost warehouse of the equipment department without any danger. The game showed a prompt to hand in the task. Jin Ke clicked the green cursor above Zhang Shidao's head to officially hand in the task of transporting the statue. The task was successfully completed. I decided to teach you the skills of rune carving. The first step is to teach you the relevant energy cultivation method, but whether you can learn it depends on your luck. Zhang Shidao was in a good mood and took the initiative to ask Jin Ke. Okay. Jin Ke certainly had no objection to this. Rune carving is not as simple as using rune carving equipment to carve runes on equipment. It is also necessary to run energy in the body according to a certain meridian first, so that the energy in the body and the energy in the rune pen or rune carving equipment form a correct circuit. Not everyone can open up and form a correct energy circuit in the body after energy training. Whether it can succeed depends not only on hard energy cultivation, but also on talent and luck. Under the guidance of Zhang Shidao, Jin quickly mastered the energy flow path in the body corresponding to the rune carving. The next step was a small game of cultivation. Jin needed to enlarge his body and use his fingers to guide the energy in the character's body to run along a certain path in the character's body. The speed of operation was sometimes slow, sometimes fast, and sometimes some energy gates had to be impacted with appropriate strength and repeatedly impacted. The strength should be just right. Too little strength would have no effect, and too much strength would likely break the meridians in the body, causing permanent damage to the soul. For other players, this was another very hard, tedious, boring, extremely difficult, and even extremely risky operation. But it was not a big problem for Jin Ke. After he operated it once, the plugin automatically started the repeated process of energy cultivation. The plugin has very precise control over the energy force. Whether it is the speed of energy running in the veins or the strength and amount of impact on the energy gates, they are all just right. Not too much, not too little, just as much as needed. Manual operation can never achieve this kind of precision. In addition, energy cultivation consumes a lot of soul. If the manual operation is not mastered well, it is very likely that the character's soul will be too tired and have to rest for a few days before continuing. The plugin pays attention to the consumption of the character's soul at any time, resting when it is time to rest, and practicing when it is time to practice, so that the practice is always in the most efficient state. After the plugin is turned on, Jin Ke does not know how long it will take for the energy in his body to achieve the correct circuit with the energy in the rune carving equipment. The master leads the way, and the practice is up to the individual. The rest is for Jin Ke to seize the time to practice. Soon Jin Ke discovered the benefits of this energy practice. His three basic attributes of intelligence, will and induction also improved during energy practice. In 3 days, intelligence increased by 0.02. Will increased by 0.11, and induction increased by 0.09. The other attributes of the body, strength, endurance, physique, speed, agility, precision, and even charm, also increased by 0.01-0.03 in 1 day of his energy practice. Especially, Jin Ke has cultivated the agility attribute to the full value of 15 points in the training base, and has also broken through the limit that the training base can reach. 3 days later, it became 15.01. Energy cultivation is a comprehensive improvement of physical fitness. In this way, there is no need to worry about energy cultivation delaying the cultivation of basic attributes. In this way, even if Jin Ke fails to form a correct circuit between the energy in his body and the energy of the rune carving equipment, and cannot learn the skills of rune carving, it is not a loss to have the benefits of comprehensive improvement of basic attributes brought by energy cultivation. Of course, without the precise energy guidance of the plug-in, Jin Ke's energy cultivation may not be able to fully improve the basic attributes, and may even cause damage to the soul and a comprehensive decline in basic attributes due to improper cultivation. It is unknown who the previous owner of this Xiaomi mobile phone is, and it is also unknown who made the plug-in program. Jin guessed that it was probably Xue'er's parents or important relatives, otherwise the mobile phone would not appear in Xue'er's cradle. If it were not someone inside the studio, it would be impossible to make such a comprehensive and accurate plug-in program for the game Horror City, right? The future technology in this Xiaomi mobile phone is also a huge mystery. Xue'er's life experience and the story behind this incident are definitely not that simple. Chapter 72 Large Field Mission. However, in the current situation, it is not very meaningful to think about these questions. If you really want to know the truth, you should use these plugins to improve the character's strength as soon as possible. Only after you get into the upper echelons of the studio, you may be able to get access to useful clues. Jin Ke has always been a down-to-earth person. He knows what to do at what stage, even if he finds that there are many unusual things about Xiaomi mobile phones, plugins, and the game Horror City. He just observes, studies, and explores silently, and will not take any rash actions. The most important thing for Jin Ke now is to keep this job and prevent Xue'er from starving. Everything else can be put aside for the time being. While the character is practicing energy, Jin Ke also studied the 56 points of dark energy he obtained. These dark energy points can be used to improve skill levels. Now Jin Ke has awakened 3 assassin skills in total. One is the passive skill Death Kiss, one is the active skill Death Dance, and the other is also the active skill Death Arc. Each time Death Kiss is upgraded by 1 level, the critical strike effect increases by 5%. Each time Death Arc skill is upgraded by 1 level, the damage output increases by 5%, and each time Death Dance is upgraded by 1 level, the dodge rate increases by 1%. Now all 3 skills are only at LV1. The dark energy required to upgrade from LV1 to LV2 is 10 points. and the dark energy required to upgrade from LV2 to LV3 is 20 points. Jin thought about it and felt that it would be more cost-effective to upgrade the effects of the 3 skills simultaneously. He spent 30 dark energy points to upgrade all 3 skills to LV2, and then spent another 20 dark energy points to upgrade Death Kiss to LV3. There are only 6 dark energy points left. The higher the skill level, the more dark energy points are required. Although Jin's dark energy point storage limit is only 125, this does not affect the upgrade of skills. For example, it takes 160 dark energy points to upgrade a skill from LV5 to LV6, but Jin's storage limit of dark energy points is only 125. At this time, he can first invest these 125 dark energy points into the upgraded skill, so that the upgrade progress of this skill reaches 125-160. When there are enough dark energy points next time, the skill can be upgraded in one fell swoop. The dark energy points invested in skill upgrades are equivalent to being consumed and cannot be taken back. Jin feels that this game is a unification of the experience value and mana value in other games. Mana value is called energy points here. Energy points cannot be restored by themselves and can only be obtained by killing monsters. It is no wonder that the magician in this game is difficult to train. All the skills of the magician need to consume a lot of energy points when they are released. Not to mention that the upgrade of skills also requires a lot of energy points. Without a strong union or other organization to provide a lot of resource support behind the scenes, it is extremely difficult for a magician to grow up. Only some skills of assassins and shooters require energy points when they are released. The energy point consumption is lower than that of mages, but higher than that of tanks and warriors. Tanks and warriors only need to consume energy points when upgrading skills, and do not need to consume energy points when releasing skills. In the early stage, assassins, shooters, tanks, and warriors can accumulate energy points through solo, improve skill levels and let the characters grow. Mages cannot solo in the early stage and can only follow the group. Jin was thinking about when to take Zhang Lentu out to do a task again, and save more dark energy points to upgrade the levels of several skills. The character's damage output will increase, the combat power will become stronger, and the survivability will be stronger. Soon Jin's wish came true. 10 p.m. Assassin Training Center. Tomorrow, Sunday, the base is going to organize some new students from each professional group to do a large-scale field mission that is not too dangerous. The whole mission will take about 3 hours. You may encounter wild monsters to fully demonstrate what you have learned in this stage. I hope all new students can participate. Yuan Kaiang announced a piece of news to all the students after the evening training. What mission? The students were very excited when they heard that they were going to go out on a field trip. The mission is to collect raw materials from a nearby factory. In fact, collecting raw materials has nothing to do with you. There are professional jobs to complete. The base mainly wants to use this opportunity to let us take you to see the outside world. At that time, in addition to me, there will be a large number of D-level strongmen in the base to provide you with all-round protection. Yuan Kaiang explained a few words, and then a yellow question mark appeared above his head to issue the task. After clicking the yellow question mark, you can take on the task of going out on a field trip tomorrow. Mission objective: assist and escort the resource group of the base to collect raw materials. Mission reward: 50 contribution points. Mission requirements: none. Mission danger level assessment: E level. Going out for 3 hours, without any mission requirements, you can get 50 contribution points. The danger level assessment is the lowest level, and there are a large number of D-level strongmen to protect you. You have the opportunity to understand the outside world. No student will give up such a good opportunity. In a short while, everyone accepted the task. Very good. Everyone will gather near the main gate of the base at 1:30 p.m. tomorrow. I will lead the team to go out together and return around 4:30 p.m. Here I emphasize the discipline again. After going out, all actions must be under command. Don't leave the team without permission. Yuan Kaiang was very satisfied that all of the students accepted the task, and announced a few more disciplines before ending tonight's training. On Sunday morning, Jin Ke was cutting and repairing equipment in the equipment department while practicing energy. Most players can't do what Jin Ke did, practicing while working. After Jin Ke learned rune carving, he could not get contribution points for rune carving, but he could get contribution points for cutting and repairing equipment. Now Jin Ke has not learned rune carving yet, and the only work he can do in the equipment department is cutting and repairing equipment. Cutting and repairing equipment can maintain the intimacy with Zheng Shidao, and also earn contribution points. Now Jin Ke signs the bill for meals in the cafeteria for free, and the accumulated contribution points can be exchanged for some useful props in the training base. Cutting and repairing equipment is an operation outside the body, while energy cultivation must switch to the inside of the body for operation, and it is necessary to switch between the outside and inside of the body constantly. If any player wants to try this operation, his finger joints will be broken in a day. But Jin Ke has a plug-in. These days, Jin Ke's character has been practicing energy day and night. When he is working, eating, sleeping, and training, the plug-in is always practicing this switching type of cultivation. Unfortunately, he has not been able to open the first energy gate. Chapter 73 Unique Rules. There are 720 energy gates in the human body, and each of the 720 energy gates has two ways of energy passing through, positive and negative, for a total of 1,440 ways of energy gate passing through. The 1,440 ways of energy gate passing through can randomly combine to form an almost endless number of energy running channels in the body, of which a very small number of running methods have been proven to be correct. After opening the gates, running energy correctly between the gates can improve the basic attributes of the body and increase the strength of the soul. However, if you do not run in this correct way, and use your energy to randomly collide with the energy gates in the body and randomly guide the flow of energy in the body, the final result will be either physical illness, soul damage, or soul collapse and death on the spot. To learn rune cultivation, you must first open the 3 designated energy gates, and then open the energy channels between the 3 energy gates, so that you can form a circuit with the energy in the external rune carving equipment. When the energy channels between the 3 energy gates are cultivated to be strong enough and the energy in the channels is strong enough, it is possible to condense energy crystal cores at the 3 energy gates. Only when energy crystal cores are condensed at all 3 energy life gates can the first level of energy cultivation be successfully achieved. Zheng Shidao spent his entire life, but he only condensed energy crystal cores at 2 energy life gates. The crystal core at the 3rd energy life gate could never be condensed, which prevented him from breaking through the bottleneck of the first level of energy cultivation. As an assassin, Jin Ke's damage output is much lower than that of ordinary people due to his multiple souls. Only by making up for it in various attributes can he narrow the gap with other ordinary players. If the energy cultivation is successful, Jin Ke will be able to learn rune carving skills from Zheng Shidao in the future. Even if it is not successful, it can comprehensively improve the basic attributes of Jin Ke's character, which is currently the most suitable way for Jin Ke to practice. After lunch at noon, Jin controlled the character to come to the main gate of the base according to the task prompt. The big iron gate at the main gate of the base has not yet been opened. At this time, the several side halls near the main gate of the base are very lively. The newcomers of the tank group, warrior group, shooter group, and assassin group gathered together, very excited and looking forward to the field mission in the afternoon. Assassin coach Yuan Kaiang and some new assassin students have come to a side hall. All the students are very excited to ask Yuan Kaiang all kinds of questions, looking forward to today's field mission. For many new students, this is the first time they have left the training base since entering the game. After waiting for so long, they are of course very excited. A few minutes later, some staff members delivered a batch of equipment and weapons from the equipment department. They were all simple equipment that Jin Ke had repaired and Zheng Shidao had runes carved on them, as well as basic weapons with runes carved on them by Zheng Shidao. The assassin group received assassin professional equipment and weapons, and other groups also received professional equipment and weapons corresponding to their respective professions. The assassin professional equipment in Horror City is similar to the assassin professional equipment in other games. They are all leather armor equipment. The real defensive function is not these leather armors, but the dark energy contained in the runes carved on the leather armors. These dark energies form a protective field in every part of the body to protect the player's body. Weapons that are not infused with energy, such as bullets in the real world, will be blocked and unable to penetrate and cause damage when encountering the dark energy field formed by runes, and even the kinetic energy formed by the impact will be absorbed and buffered by the energy field. In other words, the protective field formed by dark energy can be immune to all ordinary physical attacks. After changing jobs, the player character who wears professional equipment can become invulnerable if he comes to the real world. Of course, the prerequisite is ordinary sword and gun attacks. If the sword and gun are infused with dark energy and form an energy circuit with the player, it can cause a defense-breaking effect on the equipment of other players. This is the unique rule of the dark energy world and the basic setting of this mobile game. While the players were excited to change their equipment and take the right weapons, Coach Yuan Kaiang also walked into a nearby cabin, put on the full set of equipment he stored there, and picked up his weapons. When Yuan Kaiang was dressed and walked out of the cabin, all the students widened their eyes, with a look of amazement on their faces, and immediately understood why Yuan Kaiang nicknamed himself Big Gun Ape King. The weapon Yuan Kaiang used was not a dagger or short knife like an assassin usually uses, but a metal spear with a very sturdy shape. Combined with the silver chainmail made of alloy on his body, it gives people a heroic feeling. Coach Yuan, aren't you an assassin? Why do you use a weapon like a spear? New student Zhang Xiaoming asked Yuan Kaiang in confusion. How do you use a spear? Yuan Kaiang said, waving his gun and making a forward stabbing motion, and his pose was very standard and handsome. Poke. Zhang Xiaoming answered Yuan Kaiang. Wrong. Say it again, Yuan Kaiang said, waving his gun and making a forward stabbing motion. I see, it's a poke, Zhang Xiaoming said with a tone of sudden enlightenment. Wrong. Say it again. Yuan Kaiang almost collapsed, but still patiently waved his gun and made a forward stabbing motion. Could it be stabbing? Zhang Xiaoming's tone was very confused. Say it again. Yuan Kaiang was in tears. He posed and waited for the student to say stab so that he could continue the performance and explanation later. But Zhang Xiaoming didn't say it. It's a stab. Jin couldn't bear to watch it any longer. Yes, it's a stab. Yuan Kaiang looked at Jin with admiration, and his favorability was obviously improved. Is there a difference? Zhang Xiaoming muttered. Classmate Jin is right. The action I just did was a stab. Since the spear is used for stabbing, the one who uses the spear is of course an assassin. Come on, let me show you what a spear ape king is. Yuan Kaiang's body flashed with blue light, and the spear in his hand instantly stabbed more than a dozen times. The words of the skill he just used, piercing the clouds and breaking the sky, appeared above his head. Coach Yuan 666. Coach Yuan, do you want a pendant on your thigh? Since it's a stab, it means it's an assassin. What Coach Yuan said makes so much sense. Coach Yuan, you are my idol from now on. The new students were extremely impressed by Yuan Kaiang's performance just now, and some new students who wanted to increase their intimacy with Yuan Kaiang immediately began to flatter him. You have to change your mindset. Assassins don't necessarily have to use short weapons like daggers. I know assassins who use sticks, swords, long knives, halberds. Almost all weapons can be used. As long as you are agile enough, move fast enough, have amazing instant output, and your health is much lower than that of tanks and soldiers, you can be called an assassin. Yuan Kaiang put away his spear and explained to the new students in a serious tone, I've learned a lot again today. This game is different from other games. Then can't I also find a sword as a weapon? Assassins who use swords, just thinking about it makes me feel good. I'll go get an axe. Zhang Xiaoming thought about it and spoke. Wait, forget about the one who got the axe. The assassin will lose the characteristic of being light and agile with an axe. Yuan Kaiang heard what Zhang Xiaoming said and felt a little amused. Haha. Take an axe. Why don't you take two big hammers? Everyone laughed at Zhang Xiaoming. Everyone, pay attention. The gate of the base is about to open. The team is ready to set off. Yuan Kaiang called out to the students. Chapter 74 The World Outside. Everyone fell silent and looked at the heavy iron gate at the main entrance of the base. This batch of new trainees have all completed their job transfers within the past 1 or 2 months. The base generally only conducts large-scale field missions for new trainees every 2 or 3 months. So this batch of new trainees is basically leaving the base for the first time. Watching the heavy iron gate of the training base slowly open, the new trainees felt an inexplicable tension about the outside world, and also had some faint expectations. The tension was because the unknown dangers outside made it possible for their characters to die outside and lose this job that they thought was not bad. The expectation. I have played this mobile game for so long and have always heard that it is a very scary mobile game, but I have never even left the training base, and I don't know how scary this mobile game is. Now I finally have the opportunity to experience it. Compared with other new trainees, Jin Ke seemed less excited. After all, he had the experience of going out once, and knew what the outside world was like. He even participated in the battle with the Black Corpse and got more than 50 dark energy points. You know, last time he went out alone with Old Man Zhang, if something unexpected happened, the risk factor would still be very high. This time, all the new students in the base came out in full force. For the safety of the new students, the base sent out a security team of dozens of people. Even if there was any trouble, so many security personnel could easily solve it, and the new students didn't need to worry about it at all. Moreover, Jin Ke had guessed that the big iron door that was slowly opening was not the main door out of the base at all. These new students were probably excited for nothing. Sure enough, after the big iron door slowly opened, a cabin appeared outside. Opposite the cabin was a round heavy metal hatch. The team leader opened the round heavy metal hatch with fingerprints, irises, and passwords. After entering, there was still a long corridor. The team leader opened 5 identical round heavy metal hatches in succession, and the team finally came to the outside world. After going out, each professional group gathered together to form a small team. The tank group and the warrior group wore metal plate armor and held metal long swords and spears in their hands. They looked like medieval heavy armored troops, which made them feel very good about themselves, and the atmosphere in the group was also quite warm. Compared to the tank and warrior groups, the new students in the assassin and shooter groups all wore patched leather armor, with patches of various colors stacked on top of each other. The students gathered together, just like the members of the beggars gang going out to beg, which made the new students in the assassin and shooter groups feel very unhappy. Among the several coaches in the assassin and shooter groups, only Yuan Kaiang and another shooter coach wore metal chainmail, which was very different with its silver glitter. Coach Yuan, where did you get the chainmail on you? It's much better looking than our leather armor, and the protection value is much higher, right? Zhang Xiaoming asked Yuan Kaiang enviously. I got it from a dungeon. The protection value is over 100, which is twice that of the leather armor you are wearing. Yuan Kaiang answered Zhang Xiaoming. Dungeon? NPCs can also go to dungeons? Zhang Xiaoming said in a surprised tone. Yuan Kaiang gave Zhang Xiaoming a blank look and did not answer his question. Coach Yuan, isn't this the first time you have been to the factory in the mission? New student Yu Yang also asked Yuan Kaiang a question. I go there often, Yuan Kaiang answered Yu Yang. If I go there often, this kind of mission should be safe, right? Yu Yang continued to ask. It's hard to say. Some very powerful mutants appear randomly. Who knows if they will appear on the route we used to take, or ambushed in the factory, waiting to surprise us? Yuan Kaiang laughed and shook his head. It was obvious that he said this deliberately to scare these new students. However, the new students were not scared. With such a large team and so many guards, how could anything go wrong? Even if something went wrong, it wouldn't be their bad luck, right? There were more than 60 new students who came out to perform field missions this time. In order to ensure the safety of these new students, the training base sent more than a dozen D-level masters including Yuan Kaiang, the supervisors and coaches of each training center, and more than 20 E-level, 2 E-level, and 3 E-level combatants from various departments to escort them. With such a lineup, There would be no safety problems even if they encountered mutant black corpses. Jin Ke listened to their conversation while looking around. Although he had left the base once with Zhang Letu, this time was a little different from the last time. Last time, he went out from the north gate behind the base, and there was a mountainous terrain after he went out. This time, he went out from the main gate of the base, and there was a plain terrain directly after he went out. The characteristics of the plain terrain and the mountainous terrain are very different. For example, in the mountainous terrain, the black corpses usually lurk in the mountains and forests, waiting for an opportunity to rush out and hurt people, but the plain area makes the black corpses nowhere to hide. If they appear, they can be seen from a long distance. I don't know if the area outside the main gate has been cleared. After leaving the house, there was no black corpse in the field of vision. Today's weather is not as good as the weather on the day when Jin Ke followed Zhang Shidao to do the mission. Although there is sunshine, the sun looks like a cold white spot in the sky, and it feels that there will not be too much heat. The sky seems a little gray, and the scenery in the distance is gray. Occasionally, some trees can be seen on the roadside, which makes people see a few traces of green. There is a road outside the main gate. It seems that the base should arrange personnel to maintain this road frequently. Although there are some potholes on the road, the damage is not serious. You can see traces of filling everywhere. The player team and the escort team are scattered on both sides of the road. In the middle of the road is a team of cars using ox carts, which is out of tune with the various future technologies in the base. The oxen pulling the carts are ordinary oxen, and they don't seem to have been injected. The oxen that have been injected are mainly used to provide meat for the base. Although they are huge, they have no strength and cannot be used to pull carts or fight. There are many black empty barrels on the ox cart. The mission this time is to go out and collect raw materials. These empty barrels should be used to collect those raw materials. After forming a formation outside the door, the team officially set off. Occasionally, there are a few dilapidated houses on the roadside. The roofs of some houses have collapsed, and some houses are missing parts of the walls. It feels like they were hit by something. The surroundings were very quiet, and the team marched for more than 10 minutes without anything unusual happening. It was not like other games where they entered the monster-killing area and encountered all kinds of wild monsters as soon as they left the base. Chapter 75 Life is a Game. Why are there no wild monsters everywhere? This game is so boring. Zhang Xiaoming kept looking around. Isn't it a good thing that no wild monsters appear? Do you want to lose your life outside? Coach Yuan Kaiang replied to Zhang Xiaoming. For the guards, doing this kind of task is more boring than for the new students. The wild monsters outside, such as scattered black corpses, have very few dark energy points after being killed, which is almost useless to them. Once an unexpected situation occurs, such as the corpse tide formed by a large number of mutant black corpses and ordinary black corpses driven by the corpse brain lord, they are responsible for protecting the newcomers. According to the regulations of the base, they cannot escape alone. If there is any mistake, they may be killed outside, and they may be held accountable if they escape alone. Therefore, for this kind of task, they hope that nothing will happen. It is the right choice to complete the task quickly and return to the base. Haha, when I first played this game, I heard that it was terrifying. After I entered the game, I stayed in the training base for 2 months, and nothing happened. Today I finally came out and wanted to experience the horror of this game, but nothing happened. I really doubt whether anyone would be bored enough to play this game if we were not paid to play it. Yu Yang sighed. When you see the real danger, it will be too late to regret. Yuan Kaiang looked at Yu Yang with a slightly mocking look. Coach Yuan, can you understand what he said about playing games? Zhang Xiaoming asked Yuan Kaiang. In the past few months, the players have seen the intelligence of NPCs, and they can communicate like normal people. When the players talked about playing games, they didn't have any special reactions. Life is a game. Yuan Kaiang curled his lips, looking unsurprised by this question. Hee, all this is a game for us, but for you, it's life, right? Zhang Xiaoming continued to chat with Yuan Kaiang. You are right, but I remind you that if you keep treating everything here with the mentality of a game, sooner or later you will regret it. Yuan Qiang showed a strange expression on his face, but it was difficult for players to capture such details through the mobile phone screen. Jin Ke had already had this kind of conversation with Zhang Shidao, and Yuan Qiang's reaction at this time was similar to Zhang Shidao's reaction at the beginning. These NPCs seemed to have some unspeakable secrets that they were unwilling to tell the players. Of course, this should be the system setting, not allowing them to say it, right? Although some players, such as Zhang Xiaoming, Yu Yang, etc., really wanted to know what was so scary about this game, but after more than half an hour of boring travel, until everyone arrived at the destination of this mission, a seemingly abandoned factory, they did not encounter even a so-called wild monster. Alas, when I was in the base, all kinds of training and work were so boring that it drove me crazy. If I didn't get a few hundred yuan every day, I really couldn't play this game. I looked forward to it day and night, and finally looked forward to the day when I could go out of the base to do tasks. I thought I would finally stop being bored and could kill monsters and level up. Unexpectedly, I really didn't expect that it would still be as boring as before. Even walking to do tasks can take more than 40 minutes. Once such a game ends the internal beta and starts the public beta, I think no one will be willing to play it. Zhang Xiaoming kept nagging while following others into a factory building in the factory. Suddenly, he stopped talking when he saw what was in front of him. The character's eyes also stared forward under the system settings. The other players had similar expressions. A person appeared on the ground and wall of the factory building in front of him. Perhaps it couldn't be called a person, but just a pile of rotten meat, covering most of the ground of the factory building and the entire wall opposite, with an ugly human face with a diameter of more than 1 meter in the middle. The mouth of the human face moved, making a strange humming sound. The sound was very low and vague, and it was basically inaudible when standing outside the factory. Some players took out their weapons and took fighting stances. Don't be nervous, it's our mission today. A task NPC holding a long tube and a black empty bucket stopped the players and walked over as if nothing had happened. He pierced the thick needle on the long tube into a certain part of the rotten flesh on the wall, and then started the microsuction pump to extract a black and red liquid from the rotten flesh on the wall. The human face on the wall looked very painful, and the humming sound it made became somewhat similar to wailing. The rotten flesh on its face and body kept wriggling and struggling on the wall and the ground, as if trying to escape from here. Shooter group, what is this? Does it have independent consciousness? Yu Gang from the shooter group looked at the human face on the wall and the rotten flesh on the ground and asked the coach next to him. Mutated human, independent consciousness. Should have some. The coach of the shooter group answered Yu Gang. It used to be a human? Yu Gang asked the coach. Let me tell you a secret. The person you are looking at now was actually a newcomer like you. He got lost with others during an outfield mission. When he was found again, he appeared on this wall. The coach answered Yu Gang in a low voice. A player like us? Yu Gang in front of the mobile phone screen felt inexplicably terrified and suddenly felt like vomiting. Yes, Yu Gang turned his view to the face on the wall again. He seemed to feel that the face was asking for help. For some reason, at this moment he suddenly thought of Luo Jin and the ecological plantation. When the face on the wall wailed again, Yu Gang could no longer hold back. He put down his phone and rushed to the bathroom, vomiting into the toilet. Warrior group, coach, what is the liquid extracted from this rotten meat used for? Luo Xiangchun asked the coach of the warrior group. I remember that you seem to work in the breeding area and know how to make medicine. The coach of the warrior group asked Luo Xiangchun back. It seems that Luo Xiangchun, the chatterbox, really has a wide range of friends. He often chatters in front of the coach. The coach even knows which department of the base he works in and his skills in making medicine. Yes, coach, you have a great memory. Luo Xiangchun flattered the coach. The liquid extracted from these rotten meats is related to your work. The coach answered Luo Xiangchun's previous question. Raw materials for making medicines. The injections given to those chickens, ducks, pigs and sheep are made from the raw materials taken back here. Luo Xiangchun understood it as soon as he heard it. Correct. The coach nodded. Fortunately, I am just a player. otherwise I would not be able to eat the meat in the cafeteria. Luo Chun made a vomiting expression. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.